St. Louis DG on KMOX. Happy Tuesday. Hello, Jake. Jake's in first all time. A few minutes past 1 p.m. We have Amy, of course. Ranj is out until tomorrow.
Yep.
Right?
Back tomorrow.
Michael Kelly sitting in with us. That's his handsome face there.
Hey now.
Rach and I just had quite an experience.
Mm.
So every day before the show, weather permitting, we take a little walk, and we usually go around Soldiers Memorial. And we were doing that today. And Rach spotted the guy first, but there was a gentleman who was half on the grass, half on the sidewalk, face down. He had obviously just thrown up, and he was just like, spit coming out of his mouth, and he was yelling, "Help me, help me." So we go over to help him, and he was asking for something to drink. And so Rach called 911. And before they got there, it took them 10 minutes, something like that. A very nice woman from St. Patrick's Center pulled up. So Rach thought maybe they have like a police scanner.
Yeah.
And so she had a little thing of Gatorade. And so we gave that to him and like, hey, just hold on, hang in there. And at one point he's face down, he's not moving. And so then when the first responders, when the sirens come, because now the homeless people are hanging out at Soldiers Memorial, which I don't like. It's like, I know they're living people and this is a memorial to not living people, but I just don't like that.
Well, it's also a place where tourists come. Like people come to visit the war memorial. That's the last thing you want is chaos.
So then 3 or 4 people, homeless people from the Soldiers Memorial come walking over, and they're yelling at the guy because we called the law on him. And so it wasn't like they weren't threatening us or anything, but it was very clear that we had messed up their system and that this guy had messed up their system. So they clearly didn't care at all because they were watching, didn't care at all that this guy was in extremis. They did care that now the cops are coming. And it was just such a downtown experience. And so so we walk back, we're kind of just, commiserating about it. And we get in our office, and then Rach spots him flat out on the sidewalk on the other side of Soldiers Memorial. And when the ambulance drivers got there, they said, like, within, honestly, 30 seconds, he says he has a sore stomach and he doesn't want any help. And that was it. So
you, again, I'm not trying to make fun, but it's crazy. You guys are there and you're hearing someone say, "I need help," essentially.
Someone screaming help.
And then when there are professionals there saying, "I don't want help."
Yep.
Yeah, it was incredibly upsetting, honestly. I was on the phone with 911 and I was just kind of panicking. I'm sorry, Dave, if I was freaking out, but I was scared that I was going to witness someone die on the sidewalk on 14th Street. And it was just really, really bizarre whenever his pals, I guess, came over and they were like, "Oh man, really? You called the law?" It's like, I didn't want him to die. That's why I called. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, not trying to mess anything up. I just didn't want to see this person die on a sunny Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, there's a difference between someone laying in one of the parks passed out from drugs or something, because we see that all the time. Sometimes we stop, sometimes we don't, quite frankly. But when someone is lying in their own vomit yelling, "Help me," I mean, I can't walk past that.
How would you?
No.
Yeah, at the very least, you make the phone call.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't know what else to do, you can do. I mean, that's common sense.
It's frustrating. It's sad. It's emotional. Like you said, I've been downtown for 25 years. Lived down here, have my office down here. 25 may be an exaggeration. 20. And I can tell you I still see some of the same homeless people that I saw 20 years ago are still there. I do see some changes. For a while in my neighborhood, we used to have the Reverend Rice's place, and this drug, some type of thing they were smoking, the homeless folks were smoking, was causing them to turn into like zombies and stuff. And it's really startling. Like, we would do the same thing and was doing it like 5 and 6 times in a day for folks. And often my experience when you did call for help was exactly what you experienced. I don't want anything. Because I guess that puts them in a system, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad reality of being in downtown. And
the lady who obviously knew what was going on said next time just call 911 and say there's someone unresponsive, and then they'll just send the ambulance. But if you give them any more detail, they'll send the firefighters and the police, and then the police will drug test them and arrest them.
So that's why he doesn't want the help.
Yes,
because
and his buddies obviously didn't want the smoke. They didn't want the cops down there rousting them out, or Yeah, it's crazy though.
Totally.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I can't remember the last time we didn't have a big homeless problem downtown, but and Rach has made this point, and it's kind of the point, and Amy, I think you have too. It's not even so much that there are so many homeless people. It's that there are so many more homeless people than not homeless people.
Downtown. Yeah.
And I do wonder, like, when you look at our homeless population, we're not LA. We don't have 60,000 homeless people or whatever it is. It feels like it should be manageable. It feels like, yes, there's more homeless people than non-homeless people walking around. It feels like downtown, but it's not like swarms. There's so many. No, it feels like when you look at how many homeless people are downtown, it feels like, shouldn't we certainly, especially with all the money we're getting, be able to fix this? But I think it goes back to how complicated homelessness is. Yes, some homeless situations, it's just a person hitting really hard times with no social capital to turn to. But a lot of times there are addictions and drugs and mental illness and refusal to get help. And you can't force someone to get help. You can't force someone to receive help. So I just keep going back to this story that I saw. I don't know if it was 60 Minutes or something, one of those news stories where a woman's job is to walk around this park and talk to the homeless people, try to build a relationship. And she worked every day, and she talked to this one homeless gentleman every day. It took 3 years to finally convince him to get help, and that, let's work on addictions and mental illness and all of that. And the moral was, if it took this woman 3 years to work with this guy, we're in trouble. It's going to be hard to fix this situation, because it's not so simple as, well, they just need housing. It's not that simple. I know it sounds nice to say that's all they need is housing. A lot of these people don't have the skill sets or the ability to you can't get off drugs by yourself. You need help, but if you refuse help, we can't force the help. It's so multifaceted.
Yeah.
I mean, getting rid of homelessness would be like saying you're going to get rid of mental illness.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to, because that plays a lot into it. Whether it's the quote unquote serious diagnosed ones, or just quote unquote regular, mental illness combined with drug use. But like that stuff is a lot of what's at the root of why someone is in that position. Well, how do you get rid of that? Because if someone, the guy today does not want help, he doesn't want help mostly because of the trouble. But we've talked to people over the years here on KMOX from St. Patrick Center and other shelters and things. And a lot of people don't even want to stay in the shelters because there are rules and they don't want to live by those rules. And of course, the one's probably, we don't want the drugs in the shelter. I mean, you've got a whole homeless encampment down Tucker right there at the entrance to 70.
Unbelievable.
I mean, and it is now, again, if there's going to be a spot for that, that's probably not a bad spot, because they're not by the ballpark. They're not in a place where they're going to need to be moved because there's nothing there that they're disrupting. But that encampment's getting big.
It is big. I saw it for the first time coming back from Illinois the other night. Look, I'm a liberal here, so I don't want to sound too harsh, but I think we are enabling a lot of this behavior as well. I mean, there's more services in St. Louis than I can ever remember there being. And I think we've, whether it be allowing the campouts or whatever, I think we've given folks the right to be over at Soldiers Memorial, etc., and setting up, and we should have empathy for our unhoused neighbors, etc. And I think that's really coming from the city. You couple that with the fact that we really don't have any law enforcement, and anybody who's downtown doesn't see that much law enforcement. I think we've enabled it, and I don't know that it's any worse than it's ever been. I think that we're allowing it to go on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not.
I think I was not really alive then, but my understanding is that like in the 40s and 50s and 60s, if someone, it would be like a cop saying, move it along.
Yep.
Or the guys in the white coat showing up and taking you to some sort of the sanitarium. But it wasn't just letting people be there.
Right.
I mean, they were just like getting them off the streets.
And then we were putting up porta potties, and then we were allowing encampments to set up, etc. And it just, if there were no other services available, if we didn't have St. Patrick's Center, the Biddle House, and all of these services here, I would say, let's build a tent camp. Let's let people. The reality is these people, this is what they want to do. They want to camp out, and we're allowing it to happen. And we got to live with the consequences.
Do you guys think there's a connection between what you're talking about and then things like the brawls at Keener Plaza and people just taking over intersections in downtown? And, I don't know what you call it when they're just spinning their cars in circles, but there was apparently a shooting at one of those things.
Yeah, there's video of it.
Yeah, I mean, like these things are happening literally all the time. And there's this huge brawl with what was it? Maybe 100, 150 people?
I said like a couple hundred, but I don't know. I'm bad at estimating.
And there's
but
just,
it looks like a couple
there's
hundred.
no, eventually police cars showed up, but by then a lot of it's already over. And what are 8 guys going to do? Or I think it was 6 officers. What are 6 officers going to do when it's 200 people?
Yeah. And it's Keener Plaza.
Yeah, it was Keener Plaza.
Right there. And they're like
there was video, I think, was from the Ballpark Hilton, which again is one of your biggest downtown hotels.
And this is the problem when we get told that crime's going down in the city of St. Louis. That may be the case, but we're not experiencing it. I got that video sent to me from 3 different places. Somebody who had a friend who was staying in the hotel, the guy who owned the hotel, and somebody who happened to be downtown all sent it to me. And I think our problem in downtown is getting worse because we've allowed lawlessness and there is no police presence. And so even if we were to get right-sized back to where we're supposed to be with police officers, I think we've made this playground of nonsense in downtown such that you're going to have to come in with double the force to get back control.
Well, and you're right about it being a playground, because I know the mayor was saying, well, a lot of these, young people with guns and cars, they're not from the area. I'm like, that's right. Because
they know where to go.
Everybody knows where to go. Everybody knows where you can go to get away with it.
Yes.
I'm going to sound a million years old now, but when I was that age, we were going places like bars and clubs. There aren't any downtown.
No.
They're coming down here because they know this is where you go to get away with crime.
Yeah, because you know that even if you get caught, you're probably not really getting caught. Like if it gets broken up, you just take off.
And that was really interesting, Rach. I don't know if you clocked this, but I mean, I see lawlessness almost every day.
Right.
And it goes completely unchecked.
Yeah.
And yet these guys seem to know pretty sure that if a cop gets involved with this guy who seems to be on drugs, he's going to go to jail. And I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying, like, I would much rather get the people doing donuts at 2 a.m. and causing giant brawls than that guy to get in trouble.
Yeah. And I would assume that that's because there's some sort of like straightforward procedure as far as like, this
Right.
is how we handle this whenever we come across a situation like that. The brawls are like Wheel said, what are 6 officers going to do in a situation like that?
I mean, we saw the thing outside the wheelhouse. There's 3 guys there wearing uniforms that say police and nobody's stopping. They're all still fighting because you can't stop everybody.
You can't. No. Yeah.
I mean, you just can't do it. You're outnumbered. So, and again, the whole point is preventing it from the beginning, is making it known that if you want to try to do these things, you are going to get caught because you have, but not having any presence. They just know this is a vacant lot, essentially, where you can come down and do whatever you want. And odds are you just leave at the end of the night.
Yeah. Nope, I agree. I'll tell you guys about Universal Windows Direct, a very simple company. Thank you, Michael Kelly. Very simple company, very straightforward. They do replacement windows. They do them great. They are not the cheapest. They are certainly not the most expensive. If someone says they're going to sell me a window or a drum set or a guitar or a motorcycle, and they're going to give me an ironclad warranty for the remainder of that thing's life, I'm going to feel pretty good about its quality. That either this is a complete fly-by-night company and I'm being, hoodwinked, or they're standing behind their product because they know it's good. Well, it's Universal Windows Direct. They're not going anywhere. They've been here for a long time. So they give you a lifetime warranty. They give you a 20-year warranty that you can pass on to whoever buys your house. Buy 2, get 2 windows free. 36 months, same as cash financing. 314-334-2522 or universalwindowsdirect.com.
It is getting close to decision time for the Cardinals and their roster. This is Tom Ackerman in Jupiter, Florida. Listen for my spring training reports, the latest news as we get closer to opening day.
Hear Tom's reports, mornings and afternoons, and on Sports Open Line, on your voice of the St. Louis Cardinals, KMOX.
The Biz Dash returns for its 10th year as St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. All levels of runners and walkers welcome. Thursday, May 22nd at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Looking to give your bathroom an affordable facelift? Maybe you need your shower area to become a safer space for your family's needs. Hey, it's Trish with a recommendation. Michaels can come in and give you a free quote. We'll discuss your needs and help figure out what would work best for your space and budget. Michaels Baths remodeled bathrooms all over the St. Louis region. 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the BBB. You'll love these guys. Michaels Baths, 636-775-0800.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Tom Ackerman here. Busey Bank and Building Community takes us across the river to Madison County to recognize Refuge for Kids for the support they offer children and caregivers who've experienced trauma through abuse, neglect, and violence. By providing counseling, support, and education, Refuge for Kids changes the lives of children, their families, and the community for generations to come. Learn more about how you can get involved at refugeforkids.org. That's refuge, 4, kids.org.
This is Rob Schwartz, Senior Vice President of Busey Bank. At Busey, we believe everyone in our community has a part to play in providing a safe surrounding free from trauma for all of us. Learning more about Refuge for Kids is a start. For 10 years, Refuge has provided families the tools they need to heal and build resilience. A resilient community is a stronger community. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Welcome back, DGS 125. So you know how when we do a ruling, it's like, hey, I'm confused. Am I right or wrong? I know I'm wrong. It's just a matter of how wrong I am. Okay. So if you've watched any of the Cardinal spring training games, I call him the little ump. There's this little kid that stands right behind home plate, behind the fence. And he's dressed completely in ump attire.
Yeah.
He's got everything the ump has on.
Yeah.
And he's calling the balls and strikes. And he's got the face mask. He's got the whole thing. Now, let me say first, this is exactly the kind of dork crap I would have done. Okay? So I'm not judging him on that because I did way stupider things than this. But my dad would have smacked the back of my head and say, "You look stupid," and would have made me take it off. I feel like someone needs to do this little kid a solid.
Oh, how old is he?
How old is he?
10 or 12.
Yeah, so he looks somewhere in that 10 to 12 range.
He's not 4.
Okay, so he's not.
Yeah, it's not a
4.
tiny little guy. No. This is a guy that he's 11, I think. 11, but this is a sentient being.
Do him a favor. Do the kid a solid.
Yeah.
Help him to not do this anymore.
I'm kind of with you. Like, it's a little bit to look at me when you're going to stand at the bottom of the aisle right behind home plate because you're just trying to get attention. If it's a little kid, like he's in his seat way up high and he's doing all that because he just wants to be an umpire. I mean, all right. At some point, like when you're just going right down by the wall that is leading up to the field where the center field camera is picking you up. Again, not on the kid. I agree. He's a kid.
He's a kid.
This is where
Kids
an
do
adult
stupid
needs to
stuff.
go, hey, listen, the show's not about us. We're fans here. Let's not be drawing all this extra attention. You did it for an inning, maybe, whatever. All right. It's fun. I get it. I want the kid to have fun. I don't want to crap on an 11-year-old kid doing that, but there are boundaries.
Is it disruptive?
Not really. Like if you look at it on the TV camera, he's dead center in the picture. Yeah. Now, if you're looking at it from where the mound is looking at home plate, he's off to the side a little bit. He's not directly in the line of sight of the pitcher. So it's not like he's a distraction for the pitcher, I wouldn't think.
Because I would say if you're 11, if you're a disruption to other fans or like the game itself, you're old enough to know you want to be polite and not be a disruption just for attention.
And looking at it, it doesn't look like he's really getting in anybody's view.
Yeah.
I just want someone to save the kid from a life of dorkdom.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
all I'm saying.
That's fair.
I'm not talking about disruption.
I got you.
Rules.
You're talking about
Save this
embarrassment.
kid.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Michael's Flooring. Here it is again. I can tell you that over the years, I bet when I meet people at a QT or Schnucks or a restaurant or something, the number one comment, other than just a typical like, hey, I love the show or this, has been about Michael's Flooring. Because people aren't used to someone just being so honest. That's sad. I'm sure that there were people who were dishonest when I was a kid, but that was rare. Most of the merchants you went to back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, they just did things the right way, and they took care of people, and it was the standard. The standard was great customer service and honesty. And if someone outed you for being rude or, God forbid, being fraudulent, oh my God, you were just done. These days, no one even blinks at it. That's what they expect. So if you would like 1970s courtesy and professionalism and honesty when you're looking for carpeting or hardwood or linoleum or something, look no farther than Michael's Flooring. 3 locations. One's going to be within a few miles of you, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
At 1:30, it is windy and 76 downtown at the Arch.
CBS News special report. The White House says what was spoken about in President Trump's call with Russia's leader is the first step in a movement to peace. Our Ed O'Keefe has what the White House says were the main points of the call.
The leaders agreed that the movement to peace will begin with an energy and infrastructure ceasefire, as well as technical negotiations on implementation of a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea, full ceasefire, and permanent peace. These negotiations will begin immediately in the Middle East.
The Kremlin is also out with its own readout. CBS's Chanel Call has that.
The key condition for preventing the escalation of conflict and working towards a political and diplomatic resolution should be the complete cessation of foreign military aid and the provision of intelligence information to Kyiv. This is something that Ukraine was worried about. So this appears to be a key point to the Russians.
CBS News special report. I'm Matt Piper.
We've got a traffic signal issue on 67 South at St. Pius. Stalled vehicle 141 north at Manchester in the middle lane, and road work on 55 going south past Germania. That's got the right lane closed. And the forecast is sponsored by Interpark Holdings. The easiest way to park on game day is to park with iParkit. iParkit has the best game day parking garages in St. Louis. 2 iParkit garages are on Clark Avenue, right next door to the ballpark. Download the iParkit app and drive in and out using only your license plate. Use iParkit for convenience and peace of mind. For today, high temperature of 80. For tonight, cloudy, low 52. For tomorrow, unsettled sky, high 74. Right now, we've got 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
When news breaks, St. Louis turns to the team that knows your community best. At KMOX, our newsroom is dedicated to delivering the stories that matter to you. KMOX News is here for St. Louis.
This is Tom Ackerman of Total Information AM.
This is Debbie Monterey.
This is Megan Lynch.
Hi, this is Michael Calhoun with KMOX News.
I'm Maria Kina.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Starting March 24th, listen to the voice of St. Louis at 104.1 FM.
Anderson is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Find out why Renewal by Anderson has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1957. rbastl.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 133. One more thing about Little Ump.
Yes.
I just want everyone to understand why this is so meaningful to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was that age, I did something even worse. So I found this on eBay the other day. It's called like a something O-matic, and it's like a little handheld thing with numbers and clickers, and it counts up. It could be a grocery thing, but I decided that I was going to be the umpire for my Sandlot games in my neighborhood, and I would be able to, click off balls and strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the dork kind of thing little Dave was into. And I was not only a ball player, I was one of the best ball players, and I loved playing ball. But for an entire summer, I just insisted on being the ump. And my friends didn't think it was cute or cool. They're like, we don't need an umpire. We need a shortstop.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Go catch the ball.
Hey, take that off the field, son. Just like, oh. And I just look back and I want to fold up into a tiny square and someone burn me up. Like I'm so cringy about it. And so when I see another kid doing it in 2025 style, I'm like, I know you. I know you.
I also think in 2025, we have something that we didn't have as much of in the past, which is maybe like too supportive parents, right? Like you want to be supportive to your kids. You want to encourage them and their interests, but like time and place, right? Like if you're supportive of your kid going down and pretend umping in the middle of the camera or whatever on a Major League Baseball game. You're being too supportive. You're being too encouraging. It's okay to be like, listen here, you little weirdo. You're not going to go do that.
You
could somewhere in between.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say,
embarrass the family.
You can just say, hey guys, hey son, little ump buddy. Yeah, this is a place where people paid money to watch a game. They're not there to watch us. We're going to stay in our seats.
Yeah, you got to be a little mean to him. You got to keep him humble. Keep him humble.
Andrew, you got to shame him a little bit.
You got to keep him humble.
Yeah.
Janelle says, we sure the parents aren't shoving him out there to get attention?
I mean,
that's the other thing.
That's a good point.
It's somewhere between Janelle and Andrew.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely okay with it. And it could be like a stage parent kind of thing. Like, oh, get out there. Everyone loves it.
You're going to go viral, sweetie.
Yeah. You're going to go viral and make us a bunch of money.
He's going to be, what's that other, we had Baby Gronk, and then you got, what's that other little kid?
The Rizzler.
The Rizzler, and now you got the Umpster.
And my mom and dad,
and Big Justice,
circa 1974, tried to stop me, but I broke them. I just flat out broke them. They couldn't keep up with my dorkness. And so here I am. Another thing, I found out today, so I'm 60. 60 is a weird age. You're not young, you're not old. It's just weird. But I found out something, Wheels. I'm young enough to fight.
Yeah.
I'm young enough for young men
to
want to fight me.
Yes.
Because there's an age. I don't know what that age is.
I think it's more of a look.
Yeah. But there's definitely men old enough.
Yeah.
That young guys will go, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not fighting.
And I was at a gas station today, and a young guy was having a rough day, and he was just yelling at everybody. And then I'm pumping my gas, and I forget what he said. It was kind of funny. He was like, "Oh, Mr. Tattoo, are you going to get involved in this?"
There's nothing better than there's no greater insult than just describing something that's true.
Yeah,
like, Mr. T-shirt. Like it's not an insult.
Like I am wearing a T-shirt. Thank you.
It feels like one. It's just brutal.
Yeah.
So
this
what'd
long
you say?
hair, it's like
I just kind of laughed. I'm like, "No, I'm good. It's 8:30 in the morning."
Yeah. So he was trying to start some crap.
Yeah. But I drove away laughing because I'm like, "Hey, look at that! That guy thought I was young enough to fight."
You're worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that about Dave. He's like, so he thinks I'm young.
So he thinks I'm hot.
He thinks I'm like the pretty cool guy with tattoos. Okay, all right, not bad.
No, it's 8:30. Of course, I don't want to fight, but like, what made you want to fight?
Yeah.
Who do you think would have won?
Do you think I'd be like tough to fight?
Let's be honest though. The tattoos are going to extend your window.
Yeah.
Because people do
associate.
A bald guy with tattoos is going to be a guy that people are thinking that guy can fight.
Right. Especially when they get out of a new 4-door Jeep.
Yeah, that's true.
Not exactly a fighting car.
Flex. I don't know. It's not It's not like you're getting out of a Ford Fiesta.
Getting out of the Jeep going, this one's got a radio and everything.
A Jeep is more of a fighting car than like a Prius or something.
Yeah. On the level of fighting cars, that would be in the top half.
I don't know. Again, my old Jeep was a fighting Jeep.
Yeah.
Whoever gets out of a Jeep in 10-degree weather with no windows, you're like, I'm not fighting this guy.
Yeah.
I saw a commercial last night for the like full size Jeep that have 3 rows. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not a Jeep anymore at that point, right?
Say that again.
A Jeep with 3 rows in it. Have you seen these?
I've not. No.
They're just calling it like full size.
Well, for 14 years, I drove my 2-door Jeep, and I was very judgmental and salty about people in 4-door Jeeps. Like when they would wave at me, I'd be like, I guess I'll wave at you. But you don't deserve it.
You're not hardcore.
Yeah. So now here I am.
Yeah.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, but you're still fightable, Dave.
That's true. At least by a crazy 30-year-old in Quick Trip.
What has your day been like that you're ready to fight at 8:30?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Is it the end of
probably
your day?
started with some substances and
Yeah.
I should have just ran as fast as I could straight at him, just screaming and waving
See
my
what he
arms.
did?
Yeah. You have to run.
Waving your
I don't know,
arm
man.
like he's a bear.
I don't know, man. Put it this way.
I'm
if
making
they,
myself big.
Put it this way. If they don't, you're in trouble.
Then I just keep running past him.
You run
Dave just
right
like veer off to the side. Like, I just really got to go to the bathroom.
I really need a Milky Way.
If you charge someone and they don't move, you should probably stop.
Or you just run up to them full speed, stop, and go, yeah, I actually thought you would move. I wasn't expecting
This is what we call in nature a bluff charge.
Yeah, this is as far as my plan went.
You better pull up a good out of reach though. Pull up out of reach.
You've called my bluff.
You pull up too close, that's you're probably gonna get popped.
Dave goes back in the store like, I tried nothing and it didn't work.
If someone did that
Out
to
of
you, what's
options.
your reaction, or does it depend on who does it?
If someone comes running
Like
at
they
me,
just start running at you.
I think I just get in a defensive position and get ready for whatever's coming.
Because it does depend on who it is.
Yeah. I
right?
mean, if someone's running at me with a knife or a gun.
Oh, no, you're running.
I'm
Yeah,
running.
yeah. No, that's exactly my point. Like the
Yeah.
situation is going to be if a guy's coming at you and he looks like the size of a defensive lineman in the NFL, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge.
I'll tell you, I don't know what this says about me, but I'm also way more willing to run away if it's a woman.
I get that because you don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Because you end up, you're in an awkward situation and you're probably, I mean, like, who wants that?
Yeah, and who wants to tangle with the kind of lady that's
Just
rushing
running
you
at
like
you?
that,
That's fair
you
too.
know?
Good though. This is my point originally,
She could be
right?
the scariest one to
If
fight.
someone's coming at you,
Rage is right.
You definitely got to be wondering, okay, they're either nuts or they know what they're doing, one or the other.
Like this man, did you run from the woman so you wouldn't have to hit her? No, I ran from her because I was
She looked
scared.
terrified. She looked crazy. Who charges someone?
It kind of leads me into another topic that was not related to this, but I was just curious. I saw some TikToks last night of guys with really expensive cars. And they look like the kind of guys you'd expect to look like and just sort of bros. And I thought, do people really care? Do people really, are they impressed? Are they mad? Do they not care at all? When you have a thing, a nice car, a nice house, a nice watch, are you really just doing it for you? Do other people notice and are they impressed?
Well, I think it's a mixed bag. I think depending on, you can buy a really expensive, high quality thing that's just for you, not showy. Maybe other people wouldn't even understand what it is. That's for you because you like it. If you are trying to be showy, you're going to get the attention of the kind of people that you want, honestly, other people who are impressed with those things, right? But I think just because something, if you buy a nice car or house or whatever it may be, it doesn't mean you're doing it for a bad reason because you want to show off to people. It can mean that, but it doesn't always have to be. I think it's like, person to person, how you conduct yourself, how you act. We all know people who just name drop, brand drop, money drop. Like if there's a place that is expensive and they know it's expensive, they just drop it. They go there all the time. You know why they're doing that. Like you just do. There can be other people who go there all the time and don't mention it. It's how you carry yourself. I mean, I know we're all thinking of like different specific people in our lives. We're like, oh my gosh, that guy is such a brand dropper or a name dropper. Like, okay, buddy. I think that, but they probably impress the people who are like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Would it keep you from buying something cool?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I still bought the Camaro, even though people have their judgments.
I mean, my Outback is pretty flashy.
You love that car.
I love that car
Every
so
time I
much.
see a Subaru, I'm like, Amy would love that car.
I love Subarus. I mean, I don't want to show off, but yeah, I mean, I don't think I've really been in a position to buy anything that's so impressive.
Yeah, me too. I'm over here like,
I was trying to think of what I've purchased.
Well, it doesn't have to be a big thing. I mean, it can be a choice of what you wear to a certain place for people that are going to be there.
Like, for example,
like going to a reunion, you're trying to impress people like, I look better than all these goobers.
I would have trouble, with all due respect and appreciation to my friend Skip Weber, I would have trouble buying like a $125,000 Corvette.
Oh, not at all.
I would.
Okay, but now you wouldn't, because every like Yukon costs 120 now. There's a bunch of soccer
but there's going to
moms
be there's
driving
going to I know what Dave's
Yukons.
talking about, because there's going to be the immediate, oh, there you go. 60-year-old guy in a Corvette.
Yeah.
Well, so that is a money thing or an age thing?
You got to fight him. Yeah. In that case, you could just race away.
I better run straight at him.
Yeah.
Is that because of money, or like you don't want it to be like midlife crisis?
Both.
Okay.
It's just the general impression that people
Got
would
it.
have.
Yeah.
But
like
if
let's
you-
be honest, we all have a thing when we see somebody in a Cybertruck.
Like if it were
we all go,
if it were $120,000 I wouldn't buy a $120,000 vehicle because it just hits my gag reflex.
Gotcha.
So I'm not that much of a car guy. But if it were like a subtle, nuanced vehicle, but something like that just screams, look at me, I would have trouble.
Like, let's say the same price. Let's say you buy like a Denali or something, right? And you're carting around family and you can buy it. So you buy it. Does that strike you different than a similarly priced sports car?
It does. It does. And I shouldn't be like that. I mean, look at me. I'm judging old guys and young boys. If you're between 35 and 43, I'm cool with you. Other than that,
you can forget it.
Other than that, forget it. I judge you. And I will fight you. Unless you're a woman that's running at me.
Yeah, look like it.
And then I will not. Let me tell you guys about my friend, Dr. Corey Stolman, orthopedic surgeon, especially now that I'm so into the medical stuff and I kid about it, but I'm not kidding. My TikTok is all like, so you're a neurosurgeon. Like, yes, I am. So I'm really into that stuff and just fascinated, especially by surgeons and especially people who are like Corey, who are just the absolute top. I know so many doctors in town and they all know Corey and they not only respect him, they all send their patients to him. That if they're, an ENT or they're, a family physician and someone needs a surgical consult for something orthopedic, they all send them to Corey because he's so good in the operating room. He has great outcomes and he's just a really good, easy to talk to guy. So if someone twists something or tears something or obviously breaks something, whether it's emergent or it's something that's chronic, it's been bothering you for maybe even decades, reach out to him, 636-231-5881 or Solman, SOLMAN, SolmanOrthopedics.com.
There's nothing like it. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the timeless voice of Cardinals baseball.
A swing, and there's a high fly ball. That's hit the deep left field. It might go. It's a cover.
Now, you can experience every pitch, every play, every win in crystal clear FM sound.
Big fly out of Carlson.
Starting March 24th, tune in to 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of the Cardinals, now stronger than ever.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This year, we celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Cards 85 National League Championship with an opening day exclusive. KMOX First Pitch Breakfast, presented by Budweiser at Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village, featuring Cards legend Vince Coleman for an unfiltered conversation. Tickets are limited and on sale now at KMOX.com/events.
The First Pitch Breakfast, presented by Budweiser, Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Composting, and Dirt Cheap.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Discover true luxury at Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership, Genesis of St. Charles. Thank you for making us the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2024. True luxury isn't just built, it's engineered with precision and passion. Explore amazing cutting-edge technology, redefined elegance, and exhilarating performance in the new 25 GV80. A new level of luxury awaits you at Genesis of St. Charles. Visit us in-store or shop genesisofstcharles.com. Based on GMA sales records.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified, starting at $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them KMOX sent you. Spell it frontward, spell it backwards, still Zero Res.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
I'm Maria Kina. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
$152 DGS on KMOX. Remember that Monday we go to 104.1 FM. We keep telling you because people outside of St. Louis are worried about it. 11:20 a.m. Is going nowhere. We'll be simulcasting there and 104.1 FM. 104 is going to sound a whole lot better than 11:20. Pretty much, as long as you're somewhere within the city. We'll also be on 102.5 HD2, which I've never been able to find, but maybe you can. And scholars maintain. And then we'll be, of course, on the Odyssey app. And that all happens on Monday. What else? Oh, just for the people online who are asking, Rach, you can probably explain this better than me, but we can't play the intro music on Facebook.
Correct. We just get flagged every time we use it because it is copyrighted music. There's a difference between playing that out live over the air and then having that live on Facebook indefinitely. So for the time being, at least, you just won't hear intro music coming in and out. Sorry about that, guys, but there's just really no way around it.
Because you have like a Dave Glover kazoo that plays for the stream.
Take all your favorite songs and play them by kazoo.
Couple science things.
Yeah.
Someone, a scientist, not just like a guy, said that
somebody said, I don't
know.
that
Andrew said the other day that the estimate is that each human being is made up of 1,000 supernovas, because the things that make up, calcium and everything that makes up a human body were born inside supernovas, and it probably wouldn't come from just one. So we could be an amalgam of 1,000 supernovas from time immemorial.
Very cool to think about.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? You end up dressing like a little ump at 11 years old. So
That's, I mean, it's just one of the many possibilities.
Yep, it is a multiverse. Somewhere there's a universe where it's everything's exactly the same, but there's a little ump. Well, I'm in that one.
All the real umpires are 10-year-old kids in that universe.
And then another thing, which they're all little kids,
He's
but
lost.
there's one adult, and everyone's like, "Come on, dude, let the kids up."
Come on, you're embarrassing yourself.
And the other thing is, and I think we've always known this intuitively, but again, it was a couple of neuroscientists and astrophysicists saying that we can keep trying to understand things, but there's every chance that trying to even conceive of what came before the Big Bang is like a dog learning calculus, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, every organism, to my knowledge, is limited in some way. We're limited. But it's just so fascinating that something that we can envision enough to ask a question, oh, the Big Bang. Well, what happened right before the Big Bang? We can formulate that question, but the true answer could be you wouldn't get it. I could tell you, but you wouldn't understand it.
Maybe we aren't meant to know. I mean, that's how I comfort myself when my brain just kind of like hits up against the wall like that. I'm like, you know what? That's probably just not for me. I'm just not meant to know this.
I found it strangely comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe there's more stuff I'm not meant to know. Maybe I'll just stop thinking about all this
Yeah,
stuff.
there you go. Yeah, that's a good
Just
strategy. I'm with you.
relax,
That's
don't
what I
worry.
do with those big ones. I'm just
Have
like, well,
have some Taco Bell.
ain't figuring that one out.
Let me tell you guys about something really cool coming up. We're doing this a couple times per month at libraries and colleges around town. It's called Retirement Planning 101. It's a seminar put on by financial and tax architects. Let me tell you what it is. Let me tell you what it's not. What it is a fiduciary from financial and tax who has decades of experience in financial planning, who will take you through a really great overview of retirement. 401ks. How do you get your money out? Where do you put it? Do you just put it in your checking account? Do you do a Roth conversion? Do you do something else? When do you take Social Security? You could take it at 62, but you don't get as much. And my understanding is by 66 and a half or 67, you can make as much money as you want and still get the full benefits. You're going to learn all these things. What isn't it? It's not a big sales job. I wouldn't represent someone who is just going to, lure you in with a seminar and then hit you with a big sales pitch. I wouldn't want to go do that. I don't think you want to either. All you have to do is call a number and reserve your space. Maybe go with another couple. Call 314-350-8110, 350-8110 for financial and tax architects, 314-350-8110.
I'm Tom Ackerman, and welcome to this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. This month, we are talking about colon cancer, and joining us is Dr. Will Chapman Jr., Siteman Cancer Center.
The best treatment for colon cancer is to prevent it from ever starting in the first place. And we feel that colonoscopy is the best way that you can prevent colon cancers.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
It is that time. It's time to start taking care of your lawn. And, like taking care of your lawn can be kind of like building a great sports team, right? You need some expertise, takes a little extra care to make it stand out or make it look the way that you want to. Well, most of us don't have the expertise to do either of these things. I rely on True Green when it comes to my lawn. They're the local experts in St. Louis. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. So they know exactly what they're doing. And they just do it better than I could. I could learn how to do these things. I could get my little fertilizer spreader, and I don't have any interest in it. I'm not going to do it as well as them because they are the pros of this. Why I've been with them for at least a dozen years. It's probably more like 15 years, and it's more affordable than you think. They match any competitor's price. They back everything up with a satisfaction guarantee. If you're ever unhappy, they come back between visits to make it right. It's the perfect service. So check it out, truegreen.com. And then you can let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome.
You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
KMOX KEZK HD2 St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals. KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 2 o'clock, it is windy and 77 downtown at the Arch. The demolition of the workhouse is underway after the jail, notorious for its alleged inhumane conditions, was closed in 2021. So what should come next? One of the activists who got to start the demolition, Inez Bordeaux, would like to see the land sold.
And that money from the sale being used to invest and fund in the Community Memorial Resource Center that the Re-envisioning the Workhouse report called for.
Mayor Jones says the land will include a memorial.
Acknowledging the experiences of those who've been detained here and promoting healing and promoting reflection.
Today's start included the demolition of a side building. Additional asbestos removal needs to take place before the rest of the jail can be demolished.
CBS News special report. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin held a lengthy call today. Stacey Lynn reports ending the war in Ukraine dominated the discussion.
During the phone call, the White House says the two leaders agreed that negotiations to end the fighting with Ukraine will start immediately in the Middle East. The first step, they say, will be to seek a limited ceasefire on energy and infrastructure.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe reports it's unclear at this point if Kiev is on board.
There is no current plan for President Trump to talk to President Zelensky, for example, about what went on today. We'll hear about whether any U.S. official is briefing the Ukrainians or if this is just going to proceed with the Ukrainians on the sideline. That would be, of course, a huge departure in how the U.S. has handled this situation during the Biden years, but that has been the point of the Trump administration, to do it differently.
Trump and Putin also discussed the Middle East, according to the White House, as well as improving U.S.-Russia relations. CBS News special report. I'm Cammie McCormick.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe is asking the Federal Emergency Management Agency to participate in joint damage assessments with the state so residents in 23 counties hit by Friday's tornadoes can start getting financial relief.
A powerful EF3 tornado hit southeast Missouri's Butler County, including a mobile home park in Poplar Bluff. Resident Carl Parker is taking the devastation in stride.
I feel blessed. I'm alive. Everything I got's gone, but, I'm blessed. God kept me alive.
Poplar Bluff resident Christopher Maddox sifts through the rubble of his mobile home.
I was thinking where me and my wife is going to have a place to go and what we were going to do. We don't have anything.
Governor Kehoe's office says statewide roughly 370 homes were destroyed. More than 350 have major damage and over 1,000 minor damage. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
The Dow from Stifel down 258 points to 41,583.
Oh, it's a nice afternoon to play a little hooky from work. Mostly sunny skies. It's windy and 80 degrees. The record's 82 from 2012. Tonight, cloudy, windy, 60 degrees. Wednesday, changeable sky. Mixed clouds and sunshine. A couple of rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, but it's really windy on Wednesday. These are not severe thunderstorm winds. It's just a setup for high winds, 50 miles per hour. Some of the gust on Wednesday, resulting in some tree and power line damage, 74 for the high. Some wet snow trying to move into that late Wednesday night, a breezy and cold 35 degrees. Could see a dusting of snow from that, and just kind of chilly on Thursday as spring officially begins at 4:01 in the morning. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. We've got wind and 77 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
You're listening to The Dave Glover Show, sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloor.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS on KMOX 205. Active on the stream today. You can stream us at Facebook or YouTube. Andrew, who owns Arios, was inviting us to dinner, which we will definitely take you up on that.
Yeah.
And then Danny said, why they ever took you off 97.1 still blows my mind. I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again. So we put 97.1 FM Talk on the air October 16th of 2000. And it's a pretty interesting story. My understanding from the guys who hired me, because they were competing against a station called The Rock, Casey was, when we were at Emmis. And The Rock was kind of kicking their ass. And so they decided to buy the signal. So they bought 97.1. And I found out later that they kind of wanted everyone to forget that 97.1 was even a signal. So they decided to put an FM talk station, only the second one, I believe, in the country back in 2000, on the air so that kind of no one would listen. And so they got a bunch of syndicated shows, and they got me, who had never cracked a mic before. So I'd never been on the radio before, and gave me the afternoon show, which everyone in radio knows. You don't get your first job doing PM drive in a top 20 market, which St. Louis was back in 2000. And spent 20 years on 97.1, incredibly proud. We were number one about 8 of those years, which may not sound great, but again, anyone in radio knows 8 out of 20 is really, really good. And very proud of my time there, very proud of the station, very proud of my 20 years. But it just flat out got to MAGA for me, because the DGS was and always will be the DGS. But we're getting so much pressure from new people who found the station because of after Trump, and was like, why are you on our station? You should get off our station, you stupid liberal SOB. And it just got to the point, and my contract was up, and I was going to go across the street to a different company. And Steve Moore, who's still my boss now, came to me and said, what if you went to KMOX? Mark Reardon is way more of a 97.1 guy. We want to make KMOX bigger. We want to make it, more user-friendly. The DGS would do that. And I told him, the only question I have is the AM signal. That's just like owning a Blockbuster Video. And so they promised that they would do everything they could to get us on an FM signal. Took 5 years, but that's why, for me personally, next Monday is such a big deal, because that's been my deal ever since I got here. So on Monday, we go to 104.1 FM. It's not going to be a failure. Who knows what it's going to do, but it will definitely get us in front of more people. Most people just don't go to the AM dial. They're just on FM, and it's click, 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 and going to this station, to this station, to this station. So it's going to help us a lot and give us the reach that we've always wanted. So, yeah. So no one took me off 97.1. It was within the same company, and it wasn't acrimonious. It was just like, yeah, I'm not digging this. The station has changed around me. You guys have built this city that I don't belong in. And that's why I came over here. And it's been fun. It's been weird. It's been great to be on KMOX, being a St. Louis kid with all the history and all the legendary status. But now that we'll be able to compete on an even playing field with other FM stations, now it's going to be more fun. So there you go.
Yep. Good. That's why we should just market it. 104.1 KMOX, more fun.
More fun.
It's going to be fun.
And it's so interesting. Steve hates when I say this. But he's busy right now, so he won't hear it. But John Beck, who hired me 25 years ago, came up with the best catchphrase any radio station's ever had: younger, smarter, better. That was 97.1. Probably still is their catchphrase. And it was 100% younger, smarter, and better than KMOX, because that's who we were going for. KMOX was still number one from 6-year-olds all the way up. And so, yeah, it's interesting to have spent 20 years trying to take KMOX down, and now having 5 years and hopefully another 10 trying to bring it back to sort of its former glory. So there you go. It's kind of a cool story.
It's fun.
Yeah.
More fun.
Yeah, more fun.
104.1.
More fun.
104.1.
Hey, that rhymes. Oh, tell Steve. Let's go. 104.1. More fun.
Razor's Edge.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to talk about here. The first one is last night I was on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I'm just scrolling. I'm having a pretty good scroll, honestly. Nothing too upsetting, and which is rare these days. Didn't see too much porn, which I see on Twitter all the time. But then there's this leftist Twitter account. She goes by the name of Joe. Have you ever noticed her wheels?
Not sure.
She's just like a blonde lady
I know
named
her.
Joe.
Is that the New Jersey lady?
She might be from Joe from Jersey. That's her handle.
I think I've seen it on TikTok.
She was tweeting about President Trump and the fact that he says that the J6 pardons were not valid, which okay, that's very typical Trump to me. To me, this is not the most egregious thing he's done in the past week, but she was very upset. And during my nice, calm, pleasant scroll, this is what I see. Here's the thing, F-word face. That's what she calls the president. We knew you were going to try this bleep, but you can't void another president's pardons. The Constitution is extremely clear on this, you traitorous piece of bleep. And I'm just reading this and I'm going, dude, I get you disagree with the man, but am I the only one who just thinks it's kind of out of pocket to out of nowhere be like, bleep face, you piece of bleep? It's just it's much. It's a lot. It's a lot to just be you're going on with your day and it's oh, that's what you wanted to say to the world. It's bizarre to me. And the fact that it hit me this way, I thought was a little strange because I'm online all the time. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always on Instagram. I feel like I definitely have my sea legs, but I'm at a point personally where I see this and I go man, really? This is so tacky. Can we please just not? And I'm wondering if the general population is starting to feel this way too. Look, I don't have any problem with this woman giving her opinion. I think if you have a problem with Donald Trump, use your Twitter account to fight back. Absolutely, it's free speech. I just thought it was a little much. I thought it was a little overly aggro and just ugh.
That's just all of Twitter right now. Though.
That's true. That's
everything
true.
is just people slinging crap at each other and then porn ads.
And so much Nazi stuff. Crazy how
There's
much of that.
Crazy amount of Nazi stuff. Yeah,
I'm not seeing. I don't see a lot of
anti-Nazi.
Oh, it's
Pro-Nazi.
definitely. But I don't see that though.
Anti-Nazi, I probably wouldn't have a big problem.
You know what? I see a lot of stuff talking about Kanye and his latest album, and then they'll just show the swastika, and I'm I thought the swastika was bad. Why are we just showing it all the time? I can visualize it in my head. I don't need you to put it on the screen for me.
Yeah,
I don't
know what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about, but now I can really see it here. It's just, I don't know. I'm just personally at my threshold where I'm going I just can't with that kind of stuff anymore. If you want to live your life like that, cool. But I think it's a little much for a Monday evening as I'm watching White Lotus and scrolling on my phone.
My response would be, it depends on whether you, Joe from Jersey, is trying to effectuate some sort of change.
Yeah.
Or if she's just bitching.
Well, what she's doing is engagement.
Yes.
This is what everything on there is now about. How do I get more engagement and being outrageous?
Then that's the answer to that.
Right.
But if she were a real person and she's really letting out her emotions, I would say, I get it. I understand it. I've been there, but I don't think it does much good. And it took me 2 or 3 years listening to Rachel, who kept telling me about the show. You just can't get triggered, and we can't just take every single thing that Donald Trump does and spend an hour talking about it. And she was right. And I have come around to that and evolved on that. And maybe I'm just old enough now. And I talked to Tony Scott yesterday, feeling a certain sense of time running out, that I don't want to spend any more time on that than I need to. However, I disagree with what he's doing, and I think it's bad for the country. And so I want to lend my voice to try to make positive change. I just don't think acting like you have Trump derangement syndrome is the best way to do that.
No.
Yeah. And I mean, even just take Trump out of the equation, just to respond with so much bile and hatred about anything is just like, whoa, what are we doing here? Like, is this really? It's like I just woke up from a coma or something, because Wheels is absolutely right. This is what happens on Twitter every day. It just really struck me when I saw the F word face.
Yeah.
That's such a visceral, like, whoa. It just feels a little, it's too much. I just don't get why people want to live like that. And once again, Wheels is absolutely right. It's a way to draw engagement. It got me to pay attention to it. It got me to bookmark the tweet so I could talk about it on the show today because it affected me. But I just feel like if I'm any indicator of like the average person, I think we're all just kind of getting tired of it.
Yeah.
It's just, let's just take it down a few dozen notches.
Yeah, there's a difference between venting and trying to change anything. Because the last thing you're going to do is change anybody's mind by insulting people.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean it doesn't feel good. And it doesn't mean it isn't always justified. Sometimes it is. But that's not how you're going to change anybody's mind. That's not how you're going to make anything better. You're not going to make anything better yelling on Twitter or Facebook or anything else. And that goes for everybody that wants to copy and paste the 27-point font that's purple in color that tells you about the latest conspiracy theory that their uncle told them about. And it ain't helping either, because now people think you're crazy because you're looking at something that looks like a child scribbled it and you're sending it out like it's a serious thing. Like that, if you want to change people's minds, you have conversations and you act. You don't just tweet. You don't just post on TikTok.
Yeah.
You want to do so. You have to go do things in the real world that will get you where you want to go.
Related topic. I didn't talk to Rach about this because it wasn't a big deal, but Rach said something yesterday that stung. It didn't bother me, but it stung.
Okay.
When I was talking about, you guys don't get it. And I even admitted, like, I say this all the time. I know I'm a broken record, but life used to be different. And you seemingly exasperated with me, said, like, you need to let it go. It's never going to be like that again. We're in a whole new world. And I was a little bit pissy, like, but I thought about it a lot last night. And unfortunately, because life was just superior 30 years ago, I think you're right, sadly. And what it led me to think was, because when I thought about it, I was watching Chuck Schumer this morning on a television show, and he was just crap in the bed. There's a few things sadder when someone doesn't know it's over for them, whether it's an athlete or a senator. It's so over for Chuck Schumer. He couldn't have seemed older or from a different era, and just making his arguments with his Count Chocula shoulders and just like, dude, you're so done. And it led me to believe, like, we not only need new senators, we're going to need new everything, because we're in that middle phase. Because I'm not that old, I'm not like late boomers. So I'll still be around for a while and still be relevant for a while. And I'm still kind of anchored in 1992. But the fact is, everything from now on is not going to be 1992. It's going to be the new people in this new world that seems so weird to me. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's uncomfortable.
I'm sorry that you took that as exasperated with you. I'm 100% not. I have had those same thoughts and feelings where it's just like, man, once this goes back to normal, everything's going to be okay. But I've just come to realize, like, it's just, there is no normal anymore. We are living in bombastic internet land where people say, call the president F-face, and like everything is just as turned up to 11 as it possibly can be. And
I mean, we live in a world where the president types in all caps on social media.
Right. Right.
That right there, even if it's good stuff, is bizarre to me. Like, that's just a bizarre thing that it's like, I'm just going to say all the silly things that I think, and I'm going to do it all the time right here on social media. Like, all right, well, that's different.
Yeah. All of the unspoken rules got broken. And I think most people like them being broken. Like, even if you're not on like Team Trump or whatever, I think a lot of people are like, okay, I like this new way where I get to say and do whatever I want. I don't have to be operating under this illusion of decorum. We can all just kind of be a little bit more real with each other. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I know that that's what we're existing in right now.
Yeah, I'd never thought of it in that way, but you're right. When you go through hard times, you have the flu, you're having a rough patch in your marriage, things aren't great at work, typically because of life experience, you can go, this too shall pass. We'll get past this, and it's going to be like it used to be. But I don't think this one's gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have Donald Trump's not going to be here forever, and Trumpism won't be here forever, but he definitely kicked in the door and created something that has swallowed up what we had before. What we had before is gone.
Yeah, well, when think about it, if you're just a normal person, not just about him, this is just the conducting of politics and news the way that it is. If you're seeing the people that we are supposed to be, quote unquote, respecting their offices, regardless of what office that is, doing those things, acting the way they do, why would we have to act any different?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why should we be held to a standard that the quote unquote important people aren't?
Yeah. Tell you guys about Dr. Kathy Maupin, BioBalance Health. If you listen to the show, you heard me talk about Kathy a million times. And you know that I've been taking the testosterone pellets for 6 years, and I love everything about them. You know that I go next door to BioBalance Skin, and I get face treatments and things like that. But you haven't gone. So maybe it's the money, maybe it's you're embarrassed, maybe you don't want to be the guy that needs testosterone, which I understand. When Dr. Kathy told me 6 years ago, hey, I think you need testosterone, it wasn't my best day. And it's interesting because your testosterone is supposed to be around 500. Mine was 700. So I thought, oh, I'm killing it. But my free testosterone was like 60. And that's what your body uses. Kathy has read 20,000 medical reports for the testosterone stuff. She gets it right every time. Your cocktail will be different than anyone else's because it's specifically for you and your blood tests. And it just makes everything better. So if you want to look better, feel better in a real way at a really cool place with really cool people, go do something at BioBalance. Just kind of dip your foot. BioBalanceHealth.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions. So it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
How long we have here, Rach?
2 minutes.
Can I tell you guys 3 people that I'm mad at?
Yes.
That's so stupid for me to be mad.
Let's go.
Once again, Sanjay Gupta from CNN. I saw his dumbass doing a whole thing this morning on which of the Wesson oils have the most omega-3s, and I was just raging. Like I'm, tied up and forced to watch him or something. Secondly, the White House spokesperson, and I don't care that she's Donald Trump's spokesperson. She could be my spokesperson. Everything on me, she rubs the wrong way. Like, I know you shouldn't judge appearances. She's a very lovely woman, but that top lip of hers. And then,
wow,
I'm just saying. And then she seems everything that people ask, she seems offended. Like, do you get that this is your job? And I understand reporters can be aggressive, but like, this is literally what you do. You answer these questions. You don't have to be a wuss about it. You can push back, but she just seems like she bristles at every question. And then Wheels, here's the third one. This is the dumb one.
Me?
Do you know who I'm mad at?
Oh,
Michael Ciani. All the man is doing is competing at the best he can to be the center fielder for the Cardinals. But I think that Victor Scott has played way better than him. And if Katie Woo is right, then Ciani's probably going to be starting in center. And I'm mad at Ciani.
Well, don't be mad at him. That's the manager in the front office. So you could be mad at Mo and Ollie for that.
I know.
And I don't think he's going to be the everyday center fielder. They may make that choice, but if they do, I think it'll be because they want Newt in center, which would mean Donovan in left, Gorman at second, and Burleson DHing, because their biggest worry, I think, at the moment is not sticking Gorman and Burleson in a position where they don't play every day.
You made great points last night when we were texting.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
we were sexting.
Yeah, well,
and then he took it to
a Sunday
baseball.
night. Yeah, it is a Sunday night, so
yeah,
I'd have some fun.
And also, don't forget you're mad at Umpkid too. So it's actually
4 people.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, March 25th or Thursday, March 27th at Fleming's. They believe you can't have a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
At 2:30, it is 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. President Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin held a lengthy call to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. Ed O'Keefe has details on what came out of the call.
Did Russia agree to a 30-day ceasefire outright? No. But did they agree to talks to get there? Yes. Do they have terms that are unacceptable to the Ukrainians and to European powers? Yes. And so that could be a sticking point. But did he agree to have conversations with President Trump and to broaden out the U.S.-Russia relationship? Yes, and that's been a stated goal of the president since he was campaigning for the job.
Last week, Ukraine agreed to a U.S. proposal to implement a 30-day ceasefire. Emergency vehicles on 70 East at Bryan Road in the right lane. A stall 170 North at St. Charles Rock Road. That's got the right shoulder closed. They are clearing that out. Forecast is sponsored by Interpark Holdings. The easiest way to park on game day is to park with iParkit. iParkit is the best game day parking garages in St. Louis. 2 iParkit garages are on Clark Avenue, right next door to the ballpark. Download the iParkit app and drive in and out using only a license plate. Use iParkit for convenience and peace of mind. Today's high 80. For tonight, mostly cloudy, low 52. For tomorrow, chance of storms, high 74. Right now, 77 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
You've relied on KMOX for news, talk, and sports for generations. And now we're taking that experience to the next level. Starting March 24th, the voice of St. Louis will be on FM. Tune in to 104.1 FM KMOX for the same great programming, including Cardinals baseball. Now with crystal clear sound. 11:20 a.m., 104.1 FM, and streaming everywhere on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen.
Was just looking at my Schnucks Rewards app, and they have this really cool feature. It's called Personalized Savings, and it basically shows you savings based on the things that you typically buy at Schnucks. So my personalized savings are going to look different than Dave's or Wheeler's or Andrew's. It's based on what you typically buy. So I was just looking at my app. I saw I could clip a coupon for those ice cream drumsticks. I buy those all the time. Well, right now there's a coupon I can clip and I get $1 off next time I'm in store. That's just super convenient. It's something maybe I wouldn't have noticed. Maybe I wouldn't have thought to pick those up next time I'm in the store, but Schnucks is just giving me a reminder. I can stock up because of those personalized savings. There's also tons of other digital offers and coupons you can take advantage of. Plus, you save 2% cash back on every single thing you purchase when you use your Schnucks Rewards app. And don't forget the fact that Schnucks has just lowered the prices on over 2,300 items across the store. Those are the kind of everyday savings you can count on whenever you're shopping at Schnucks.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and I see more clearly thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Make your appointment today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place,
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Welcome back, DGS on KMOX 235. Let's talk to attorney Brad Young. Hello, Brad.
Hey, Dave.
So, you're a conservative. I'm some sort of weird softy libertarian. But one thing I do appreciate, not in the thank you, but in the get it way of the meaning of that word, is that by the time Donald Trump leaves office, we are going to have a much better idea of what is legal and what is not legal in the office of the president from the Supreme Court, because he is pushing everything, and it's going to district courts, into appellate courts, eventually to the Supreme Court. And that's going to be fascinating because, 10 years from now, we're going to have a much better idea the limits on the power of the presidency. Don't you agree?
Oh, completely. And, one of the elements in the rules of ethics, and believe it or not, most people don't understand, attorneys do have ethical rules. But in those rules, it specifies that you can argue, it's ethical to argue against a good faith challenge to existing law or case law. And while I snicker at a lot of these positions that Trump is taking, I recognize that once a court rules on it, to me, the issue with Trump isn't that he's making the challenges. The issue will be whether he follows the dictates of the courts once those issues have been resolved judicially. And that's really what I'm looking at with a lot of these, including the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil and others. It's whether the Trump administration follows the ruling of the courts. That's what I'm interested in following.
And we had our first real example just last night when, as I understand it, a federal district court judge, which is like, for those of you who aren't attorneys, that's a big deal. I mean, even just a district court federal judge is sort of like, royalty, and made a ruling that what Donald Trump's administration was doing with these supposed gang members heading to El Salvador was illegal, even said turn the planes around. And now I think they have until 3 p.m. today to basically show cause why they did what they did. Who was it? Was it Andrew Jackson, Brad, who famously said the Chief Justice has made his feelings known, now let him enforce it?
Exactly. That was an Andrew Jackson line. And listen, Trump, in many ways, is a present day manifestation of Andrew Jackson. But here's what I thought was interesting. With regard to those deportation of the so-called terrorists or members of the Venezuelan gang, so to speak, the administration said that the plane didn't have to turn around because it was over international waters and wasn't subject to the court's jurisdiction. But when you look at the order from the court wasn't ordering the plane to turn around. The court was ordering the Trump administration to turn the plane around. And the Trump administration was clearly within the jurisdiction of the federal court system. So it doesn't matter where the plane is. According to that logic, if you have something on the moon, then it's beyond the court's jurisdiction. But, NASA is within the court's jurisdiction. So I thought that argument was that did not pass what we call the straight face test. And I do feel that the courts will reject that argument.
So big what if here, because we're nowhere near it yet. But what if the courts keep ruling against the White House and the White House keeps saying, we're going to do it anyway? Like, what's the mechanism in place where if you're going to disobey the let's say the Supreme Court backs up the federal court, the federal district court, and says, nope, not constitutional, you have to do that. And they say, well, we're not anyway. Like, I'm not saying that will happen, but if it does, then what?
Well, a lot of my progressive friends, Wheeler, have been texting me that, we're in a constitutional crisis right now. Well, we're not, because at this point, on all of these rulings that we're seeing in lots of areas, whether it's DOJ or immigration or what have you, right now we're still in the appellate process. So we haven't had a constitutional crisis yet. But the focus of your question is, what happens when we get through and exhaust all of the appeals in these various situations,
right? And
the Trump administration still refuses to go by that. That is what we call a constitutional crisis, where one branch of the government, the executive branch, is ignoring the dictates of another branch of government, the judiciary. We have not really dealt with that situation before, other than, as Dave mentioned, Andrew Jackson, and there was some constitutional crises even then. So I don't really have an answer for you. All I know is right now we're not at that constitutional crisis,
Right.
But we're not far from it, or from the potential of one.
So like, that's why it's such a baffling thing, because what's to stop anyone? Forget this administration. What's to stop any president ever from just saying, nah, when the Supreme Court rules? Like, does the military have to step in? What does Congress do? What can anybody do if there's no like prescribed mechanism for this is what we do when this happens?
Well, the only prescribed mechanism that I know of is under the 25th Amendment, where you can declare a president incompetent. But the problem, and again, I'm not making a political statement here,
right.
But in any administration, whether it's Trump or President Smith in the future, is if you have a cabinet that completely agrees with the president rejecting the dictates of the judiciary, then I don't think the 25th Amendment procedure would even work, because you would have to have a majority of those people say that the president is incompetent. I don't see that now. I don't see that happening under a hypothetical President Smith, and that therein lies the problem.
Brian, one of our consistent streamers, has an interesting point. He says, you mean kind of like how Biden ignored the Supreme Court and kept issuing student loan forgivenesses when the court said no?
Okay, great question. I followed those issues specifically because I was virulently against the elimination of student loan debt for lots of reasons that I'll skip. But every time the Supreme Court or the courts told Biden that you cannot do this, it was always under different statutory mechanisms that Biden was doing. So it's almost like this. It was almost like if the court orders your neighbor, stop yelling expletives at 2 a.m. And then the next day, your neighbor starts reading from the phone book at 120 decibels. And the court says, stop reading from the phone book. And so then the next day, your neighbor starts reading from the Bible at 2 a.m. Okay, so every time the Biden administration did something a little different that made it a different legal issue than the one before. It wasn't just a blanket stop eliminating student debt, but it was stop using this mechanism to do that. And then the next time Biden would do something different. So that really is an apples and oranges situation.
So I will give Donald Trump this much. He has a group of outside the box thinking lawyers, because the auto pin signing of Joe Biden's pardons would have never entered my mind. But it's become a thing now. What do you think of that issue?
Well, this is another just black and white issue. In fact, the courts have even ruled on this issue. In 2024, there was a fourth district decision that says, number one, presidential pardons don't even need to be signed because under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2 of the Constitution, it just says that the president has this power and doesn't say what has to happen to initiate that pardon power. And so the courts have already really addressed this issue in the past. Plus, there's been previous legal challenges going back 50 years about the use of the auto pen, and it's deemed to be as lawful as an actual writing with your great big Sharpie. Using an auto pen is just as viable because it's done with the authorization of the president.
Any other questions before we let him go?
I guess the other implication that's being made with the auto pen, at least when I saw the White House press briefing today, is what's her name? Carolyn
Leavitt.
She was
Leavitt.
saying, well, obviously we can all admit that Joe Biden was impaired and didn't know what he was doing. I guess, I mean, does that signal to you, Brad, that those are the next steps that they're going to try to somehow prove in court that Joe Biden was incompetent and had no idea what was happening the final months of his presidency?
Right, because that's a separate issue. Okay.
Right.
The one issue is whether the auto pen is or is not legal. And the answer to that is clearly yes. But the second issue is what happens if you have a president who lacks the mental competency to issue a pardon? And that's a different issue. That issue I don't see as being valid unless you got some court to enter an order stating that Joe Biden was found to be incompetent under the Constitution, and I don't see any court doing that. So I don't see either of these challenges going anywhere.
Chris Online is saying this dude isn't partisan, question mark. Brad, give your conservative resume.
Listen, I'm the most conservative guy. I'm your classic 3-point conservative, lower taxes, strong defense, limited government. But what you see whenever you take positions that violate either previous precedent or not good faith challenges to legal precedent, then that's not a liberal or a conservative position. You should have heard me yelling and screaming from KMOX every Wednesday night when I had my show on Wednesday nights about COVID, about the COVID restrictions, about COVID came from a lab leak. It wasn't coming from a bat that mated with a turtle or anything silly like that. Okay. We know where it came from. As Jon Stewart said, you've got the Wuhan Center for Virology right there. That's where it came from. So no, my conservative credentials are strong, but I'm against violating court precedent or doing things that violate the Constitution, whether that's liberal, conservative, libertarian, or socialist. I mean, I think my position is pretty fair.
All right. Thank you, brother. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-431-2715. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715.
KMOX Cakes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back at Cardinals Nation Restaurant in Ballpark Village, Thursday, March 27th from 11 till 2. It'll feature a live KMOX broadcast, a brunch buffet, draft beer from Anheuser-Busch products, and select mixed drinks. All-inclusive single tickets and tables on sale now. Celebrate this unofficial holiday with KMOX, Budweiser, Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Composting, Rally House, and Dirt Cheap. Get your tickets now at KMOX.com/events.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Vira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/radio and use code radio for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/radio and use code radio at checkout.
You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Dave Glover. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Welcome back, 251 DGS. We have the think tank coming up at 4 p.m. By the way, on Monday, when we go to 104.1 FM, not that we haven't taken the show seriously up until now, but we had a meeting today because when we hit the FM, we'll be in front of a lot more people than on AM. And I just want to kind of do a spruce up of the show. So we're going to be adding some benchmarks and, some things that we do each day, things we do each week, and adding some more guests in. And feel free to reach out to us either through the stream or any other way. Let us know what you like. What do we do that you dig? Because so much of this is just guesswork, right? I mean, prep the show every day. We do the show every day. You go home, you hope people liked it. Some did, some didn't. But always feel free to say I really like when you do this. I don't so much dig it when you do that. Because a lot of times we'll take that, to heart.
If you like something, tell us. If you don't, keep it to yourself.
Keep your mouth shut.
But just keep in mind, no decisions will be made based on one person's feedback.
Yeah, true.
Or even hundreds.
Well, that one probably gets your attention a little bit if you got 100 people saying the same thing. You're like,
Keep Stairway to Kevin. All right, we'll get rid of Stairway to Kevin.
Yeah,
Fine.
you can get rid of it.
We'll delete that.
It's still going to be Sue at 2 on Fridays. Sue will always be here so long as Sue can do it. James Crockett, I believe we're bringing back Paranormal Tuesdays.
Yes.
So yeah. Now that's enough. That's enough feedback.
One of us.
Yeah.
You guys have had your say.
If you started typing, just stop.
I just knocked Rachel's camera down because I'm like, one of us.
One of us.
There you go.
What is about to get really stupid and really interesting is Drake versus Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, the lawsuits.
The lawsuits and the appeals, and it's quite possibly going to go to the Supreme Court of the United States of America whether you can libel and slander someone in a rap battle. That's going to be the question. Isn't that interesting?
Which that's all it's ever been. That's all a rap battle is libel and slander.
Not if it's all true.
Yeah, but doesn't it go beyond whether or not it's true? Don't you have to be able to prove?
I'm not. I'm no lawyer, but I mean, the truth is the defense for both of those accusations. So you would probably have to provide some evidence saying this is why I said that, right?
Man, and just on another side, I couldn't be farther removed from that, but how Drake just keeps losing. He just keeps making himself look weak and stupid, right? He just does. It's like he can't defend himself in the rap battle. That seems pretty clear. And now he's suing his own company. They're both with Universal. And Drake took a position a few years ago saying that rap lyrics should not be taken seriously. They're only for entertainment, and they're an exaggeration by the very nature of the medium. And now he's going back the other way and saying not if you say it about me.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, as someone who's followed Drake's career, this is pretty much par for the course. I mean, he's just going to say or do whatever he needs to say or do to win the situation. Yeah. So
we also didn't know when this started, and I think Drake didn't either, is that he was going up against in a rap battle an insane person He's going up against Kendrick Lamar, who you would think would have better things to do at this point. 1 full year into the feud, you'd think he would have better things to do than still constantly finding new little ways to dig at Drake and upset him. And like, getting to do a Super Bowl halftime show and then like basically making the entire Super Bowl halftime show about Drake and how much he wants to upset Drake and make him mad. Really fascinating stuff into the mind of who I now believe. Now, I'm a fan of Kendrick's, but I now believe is a completely insane person.
Yeah, I don't know that it's insane because it's working. Gets headlines, promotes your product, get you in the Super Bowl to be the halftime show. I mean, I wouldn't call that crazy.
It's funny. Chris says, "Who's Drake?" And Brian says, "You should have seen my mom's face during the Super Bowl when my son was trying to explain the Drake versus Lamar rap beef."
Yeah, I will say this.
Explain it to my people too.
Forgetting the crazy versus not crazy. Nobody cares about your stupid beef. Bring that in your concert. Bring that in your music video. Don't bring that to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on.
Nobody cares.
That's
Nobody
the thing.
cares.
There are people who care, but that is like, it's like 600 people on the internet.
Right, but keep that for the people that
are like freaking out about it and so excited.
I keep that for the people that care and leave the rest of us alone. Like, I don't care. It doesn't enhance the performance knowing, oh my God, he just got to dig in at Drake. I don't care. Fight. Go meet somewhere and fight. Just get it over with, man. That's what Gen X does.
Wow, he took that in a different
Just
direction.
meet outside the school and we'll fight, man. If we're going to have a beef, let's just finish this.
Let me try to steer you guys toward the Gelman team. So the only people who are interested in the Gelman team are people who are either set on selling or buying, or probably both. That's the way it goes. You sell your house, you buy somebody else's house, or someone who is kind of interested in it. If you are kind of interested in it, you should have the guys out to the house. And I can tell you this, knowing them for as many years as I've known them and having done several real estate transactions with them, they are not pushy. They are not going to try to get you to sign a contract on day one. They'll come out to your house. They'll take a look. They'll give you their initial assessment. Here's what I think I would do. I'd probably put a couple grand into landscaping. I would probably paint this room or this. And I think you're probably looking at somewhere between $500,000 and $525,000. On a really good day, maybe $550,000. Make them sell you on using them, right? I can do a pretty good job of introducing them, giving you the 18 years I've known them and the hundreds and hundreds, if not a couple thousands of people who have now been to them through the DGS to buy and sell a house. But it's going to be up to you. When you're interviewing people, please just include the Gelmans. If you want to know what we think your house is worth right now without talking to anybody, you can do that on the front page of thegelmanteam.com when you're ready to talk. 314-336-1991.
Certain restrictions apply.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
The Rockwood School District has openings and is looking for people who enjoy working with kids, child nutrition, cafeteria workers, custodial grounds and maintenance, bus drivers, the Adventure Club. All of these great benefits are included, and a positive, caring, fun work environment. Competitive pay, part-time and substitute positions available as well. Flexible hours and shifts. The Rockwood School District. rsdmo.org/jobs. Warmer spring weather is right around the corner, and now is the time to plan your home's exterior renovation project. Banner Construction is booking now for homeowners to be first in line for beautiful James Hardie siding and Pella replacement windows. Beat the price increases and plan your project now. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 to get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
When news breaks, St. Louis turns to the team that knows your community best. At KMOX, our newsroom is dedicated to delivering the stories that matter to you. KMOX News is here for St. Louis.
This is Tom Ackerman of Total Information AM.
This is Debbie Monterey.
This is Megan Lynch.
Hi, this is Michael Calhoun with KMOX News.
I'm Maria Kina.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Starting March 24th, listen to the voice of St. Louis at 104.1 FM.
KMOX KECK HD2 St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis. This is KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 3 o'clock, we've got 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. Trump and Putin agree to an immediate ceasefire for energy and infrastructure in the Ukraine war.
The White House calls it the first step in a movement to peace. Though in a lengthy phone call, Putin did not back the broader 30-day ceasefire the U.S. wants. And shortly after the call, air raid alerts sounded in Kyiv, followed by explosions. Still, the Trump administration hopes the agreement on a limited truce will eventually include a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea and then a full end to the war. The Kremlin says Putin wants the president to end all foreign military and intelligence aid to Ukraine as a condition for ending the fighting. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The demolition of the workhouse is underway after the jail, notorious for its inhumane conditions, allegedly was closed back in 2021. So what should come next? One of the activists who got to start the demolition, Inez Bordeaux, would like to see the land sold.
And that money from the sale being used to invest and fund in the Community Memorial Resource Center that the Re-envisioning the Workhouse report called for.
Today's start included the demolition of a side building. Additional asbestos removal needs to take place before the rest of the jail can be demolished. Post-storm cleanup is underway in St. Louis County.
County Police Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth Gregory is warning residents to be careful when finding someone to repair your property damage.
Obtain a contract outlining the scope of work, payment and schedule, and guarantees. Avoid paying full amounts of the work up front, as it's common for scammers to request.
Director of Human Services Amber Banner is asking people with damage to dial 211 so the state can understand the extent.
This system is designed to link individuals to the right services at the right time.
If you live in unincorporated parts of St. Louis County and have downed limbs on your property, the County Department of Transportation is asking you to place them on the curb so they can come remove them. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
How is Congress doing?
A plurality of voters believe that Congress is not necessarily doing a good job.
SLU professor Steve Rogers has the numbers from the latest SLU YouGov poll.
It's about 49% disapprove of Congress's performance. However, somewhat remarkably, 41% of Missouri likely voters do approve of Congress's performance.
The data is the highest approval rating ever in 5 years of the SLU YouGov poll that's been in existence. The KMOX business desk, home building is trending lower headed into the start of the traditional construction season. Jason Brooks has that.
The U.S. Census Bureau reported that building permits in February declined 1.2% from the previous month and were down nearly 7% compared to the year-ago rate. That's promising to stunt potential momentum in new home construction after housing starts rose more than 11% in February from January's big drop. And even with that gain, the pace of new home construction is still down about 3% from a year earlier. Homebuilder sentiment fell to a 7-month low in March on worries over tariffs further increasing high material prices.
Let's get an update now on the St. Louis Business Index. To Stifel we go. Here's Scott Bedell.
Good afternoon, Michael. Hello, everyone. Following 2 days of rebounding stock prices, major market indexes took a breather today with a sell-off across the board. At the close, the Dow Jones Industrial Average had fallen 260 points, or 0.6% to 41,581. The Standard & Poor's 500 index also lower, down a little more than 1% at 5,614, while the NASDAQ Composite Index fell 1.7% to 17,504. The Bloomberg St. Louis Stock Index dropped 0.5% at 1,469. A couple local stocks today moving higher. Peabody Energy up 6.25% at $14.18. Bear Corporation added another 3.5% to $6.77. On the downside, Stifel Financial slipped 0.6% at $96.27. Energizer fell a little more than 1% at $30.09. While Esco Technologies dropped 2.5%. They closed at $156.01. This has been Scott Bedell from Stifel Financial, member SIPC and New York Stock Exchange. For more information on our firm, we invite you to visit our website at stifel.com.
My, oh my, it is a warm Tuesday afternoon, mostly sunny skies, windy, 80 for the high. The record is 82 from 2012, so we're going to be close. Tonight, cloudy, windy, 60 degrees. Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, changeable skies with some showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder. Not a severe situation, but it's a big-time wind maker on Wednesday. Wind gusts could be pushing 50 miles per hour on Wednesday from the south-southwest, resulting in some tree and power line damage. So let's be ready. Wednesday night, showers, some wet snow mixing in with that late Wednesday night at breezy and colder 35. Thursday, some early morning snow flurries, maybe a dusting by Thursday morning, then sunny skies 54. Spring officially begins on Thursday at 4:01 in the morning. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunroofs, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. We've got wind and 77 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This hour of the DGS is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloor.com.
.307 DGS. I really like Kiss, but they're kind of embarrassing to be a fan of. Like, they're just so stupid. And did you hear the latest? Who's my boy, the bass player?
Oh, Gene Simmons.
Yeah, totally brain farted. Did you hear his latest way to make money?
No.
You can be his roadie for the day. You get to work for him and have lunch with him, but you have to pay him $12,000 to be a roadie for a day.
Okay.
That's like something Craig Gass would do as a
That would be so good. And if he talked to Gene as if he were Gene all day.
Yeah, we should pay for him to do it.
Oh, my
Doing the makeup.
God, that would be great.
So I want you to do Stairway to Kevin, but I want you to tell everyone about the gnomes first.
All right. Wait. So,
by the way, Kevin's very upset about this.
Well, I'm upset about this that like we're losing our minds. Like, we believe in all these fantastical, weird things because we see them on the TikTok or we see them on Twitter. But yeah, there was a report out of Utah that some lady said she saw a gnome in her backyard pushing a tiny little wheelbarrow.
Aw.
Which she called a wheelbarrow, by the way, which stop it.
Sure.
Stop it.
I feel like that's what I unintentionally call it a lot.
Stop it then.
Oh, I was out of law school before I realized it wasn't wheelbarrow.
But there's like all of these people like, did you see the video of a real gnome in real life? Like, it's AI, man. Everything is fake. It's not hard to fake videos like this.
I want to see him.
And there are no gnomes.
There could be gnomes.
But like last week we had the story like mermaids are real and the elite are eating them. Like what?
Yes.
What? Why are we?
Yes, we had that story.
Yeah.
We had that true story.
Mermaids
that
are
changed my
real.
life.
Gnomes are real. I don't know what you're mad
I guess
about.
in a
It is yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. You're going to tell me leprechauns aren't
yeah.
real?
Well,
Yes.
I mean, I'm real, so
Gnomes are a
leprechauns
subset of
real.
leprechauns, and they love their wheelbarrows. I don't know why you're so
yeah,
mad
and you have
about
to leave. Apparently, they're like, if you leave them gifts, they'll leave you alone because what they're really there to do is take your children.
The gnomes?
Yeah, the gnomes.
I don't know about all that,
So
but
if you,
I do leave them
apparently, if
gifts.
you leave them like 5 pennies, they'll leave you alone. Like,
Can you pick which children?
like
There was a Goosebumps book called Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes that I read when I was probably 8 or 9.
Mhm.
Too scary, man.
Classic.
So
Still a little scared of them guys.
I would, you know what? My life would be 75% better if I had a gnome in my backyard with a tiny wheelbarrow.
yeah.
As long as we're cool with each other.
And then
Just give them a nickel.
there's this lady that's apparently popular on social media who talks to the aliens
Yes.
telepathically and told everybody last week that this past weekend the aliens were going to make themselves known to us and their motherships were going to appear in public and be undeniable. And when it didn't happen, there's a video going, well, then I just talked to him again and the plans changed. Like, what? But people
plans change.
Why do people fall for all of this and the flat earth? Like, what? Are we that desperate for something interesting that we
think
just
so.
believe stupid crap?
I think so.
When have you ever made plans 2 weeks out that didn't change at all before you did them?
Well, I mean,
I find it
it
believable.
is a galactic federation, right? And they
Yes.
have all these people. They have to have a say.
Yeah. Zeptar 7 was on the crapper.
And she's like, they apologized to me and said, we did have the plan, but it changed.
They said, hang on, there's new tariffs on Zephyr.
Well,
It's funny,
7.
just how every time like there's a doomsday coming. Oh, sorry, we were wrong. It changed. Now it's this day.
In other conspiracy news, did you see that the Trump administration is supposed to release 80,000 pages of the JFK files?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is it all of it? Is it unredacted? Is it?
He says it's all of it, and he says it's unredacted.
We'll find out, I guess, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are that it's exactly what
95%.
we think?
Oh, it's
like
gonna
what
be-
they
yes.
say it is. It's 99%. It was a shooter who was, acting mostly alone, and then Jack Ruby killed him over debts and
I think after, what am I trying to say? After all this time, the government has figured out how to hide things from us effectively. And so I don't think that there's any universe where if they don't want to, they being the Illuminati or whoever it is,
yeah, the
gnomes,
power brokers.
that if they don't want something out, it doesn't come out.
Thank you. Like you're saying, these are all of them. How does anybody know?
Yeah.
How does anybody know if the shadow government exists and if there are all these deep state power brokers? You think they're just going to be like, here's the stuff that convicts us.
Darn it.
And
Dang it, you asked and we had to do
if
it.
you did all this, why are you
He
leaving?
said, please.
Why are you leaving 60 years later an enormous paper trail that leads right back to you?
Yeah, you finally got us.
It's the same thing with all
You
of
found
these,
all the clues.
with all of the releases of all of these things, even the Epstein stuff. Like, even if they were to say this is all of it, how do you know? How do you know? You don't know. Nobody knows what they want you to think, whatever it is. And by they, I don't mean anybody nefarious. I just mean the people releasing the documents. If the people have that kind of power to get away with things for that long, they're not just going to cede that power to be like, oh, you got us. Like, if that exists, if people believe that exists, then you just have to accept you're not going to know. You are never going to know any of those things.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the gnomes, if they don't want us to see them.
That's how Andrew feels about the vampires, apparently.
Yeah, they're there. They just don't want to be seen.
Jeez.
What about a vampire in your backyard with a tiny wheelbarrow?
That would be a little bit more disconcerting.
Full size guy, but
it
with a
depends.
little
Like,
wheelbarrow.
these gnomes are the size of a football. Just kick them.
That'd be fun.
They're scarier than you think. You get a group of them together, it's like, whoa.
That's how they. If I recall correctly, that's how you deal with them in Harry Potter. You just kick them.
Oh,
Harry was
speaking
kicking them all
of
over the damn place.
alien conspiracies and, not seeing the aliens this weekend, do you know what movie I watched for the first time this weekend? Contact.
Oh, I like that
Miss
one.
Jodie Foster. It
Yeah.
was really good.
That's
I
a
really,
good
really
one.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey has a huge forehead in that.
He does, and he was actually good as kind of a
Yeah.
like a different character than he normally is.
Yeah.
It's
He
not
still
that's
did
not
his
normal for him.
drawl.
Yeah, but like that one's a great alien movie, but it's not about like seeing aliens. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like it's a different type of story.
I was like, this could have totally happened.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
yeah, it's a good one. I have to watch that again sometime.
You have
Haven't seen it in a while.
another stairway?
All right, so it's loosely related to it, and it's not really directly, but it's loosely related to the there's always more to the story kind of theme, like the conspiracy theme, because I hear a lot of ads, largely on satellite radio, but I see it on Twitter all the time too. And this is why I put on the rundown whether or not you guys have a go bag. Do you have a go bag, a bug out bag? Like it's got first aid kit and maybe some snacks like food, like, protein bars or whatever. Because apparently, I don't find this to be a crazy thing if you live in a place where you might have to leave your house, like flooding, or you're in a hurricane zone or whatever, right? I don't know that it's crazy, but I keep hearing a lot about, when everything breaks down, if you don't have food, you're dead. And I'm like, what are we talking? I mean, how often are we going to keep playing this card, this fear card? Like when society collapses, you won't be able to go to the store. Here, buy our survival food. Like, what do you think people like? Why do people think that things are on the edge all the time?
I think because they tell us that they are.
Yeah.
Is it any worse now than it was 20 years ago? Any more likely that society is going to collapse? Not just that terrible things are going to happen. And again, that's why I say there's a difference. If you have like a go bag, or if you have some preparations made where I live in an area where there are wildfires and I might have to get out of my house really fast, and here's some critical things I might need if I do that. Like, that's totally sensible, but that's all very situation dependent. Like, I don't think we live like where I live. I don't need a bug out bag. There's nothing I'm going to have to run from my house from that will be known. Like, the biggest threat to my house, probably a tornado, but I'm not going to know that's going to hit.
Yeah. When I was on 97.1, we had several clients who were selling those kind of things. And it was typically like martial law. It wasn't so much about there's a bad storm.
Right.
It was like, here's 2 years of rations when martial law is enacted.
But if there's martial law, they're not going to let you buy food.
I mean, in that case, a lot of people aren't going to want to leave their house, period. They're going to want to hunker down.
I'm fascinated by this because I could, again, like 200 years ago, that would be a much more valid concern, right? There could be a time where there's a famine, a war, where you're stuck and you better be prepared. And I'm not saying it can't happen. Obviously, anything can happen anywhere, but what are the odds? What are your odds that you're going to be in a situation where you need food for a year?
Those ads work on me.
They work on me too.
I've never done it, but every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, you're not taking care of your family.
One of my huge fears is the power grid going down, and like you can't use your car, and you're like, if the power grid goes down while I'm at work, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna walk the 3 hours it would take to get to my apartment and hope that no one like accosts me on the way there. Like, I get what you're saying, Wheels, but like I am definitely prone to that kind of when they set you up for the fear mongering. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should buy a couple of cases of chili or something and keep it down in the basement and some bottled water. Like, doesn't seem like a horrible idea.
Having a societal meltdown just to know that she's eating nothing but chili for 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, like to the point. And again, I've seen.
Should have packed something else.
I've seen we make TV shows about this, right? There are shows about preppers, which, again, depending on your circumstance, can be more understandable. If you live in the country and you're not near anything, I can understand being like, we need extras just in case. Like again, it's not one blanket thing. It just feels like it's like there's a push to make sure that we're always worried about something.
Mm-hmm.
When anything we would be worried about is completely unpredictable. Otherwise, if it was predictable, we could prevent it, or it's just not going to happen. And even if it does, do you really think that you like having food supplies in your basement's going to keep you safe?
Well, now I don't know what to do. Lose all hope, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like again,
so
as an example, just as an example, like before COVID, there was some word out before the shutdown going, you guys, it might be smart if you went out and bought some food that could last you for a week or two.
And I did that.
Right, and we did too. And that's, again, there's a specific thing that we need to be prepared for. If you're in a hurricane zone and you can hear the hurricanes coming, or you've seen it, and you need to make again, totally makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely makes sense. But like this general state of fear can't be good.
It's different having kids, because even though both my kids are grown, I still feel responsibility for them. Duh. But if I didn't have kids and I'm wrong about religion and the tribulation period comes and all the baristas are now spiders, just bite my head off. I have no need to make it through the 7 years of the tribulation period. It's gonna suck.
Seems like the stream is more on me and Dave's side as far as feeling insecure about like the grid and supply chains and things. Eric and JR and Brian are all pointing out like
it's gonna be like that Twilight Zone. Wheeler's gonna be knocking on the door of our bunker.
It's always this. The answer is always, well, what if it happens? Well, what if it happens? Well, what if it happens? Well, yeah, what if a lot of things happen?
Exactly.
I mean, you again, everybody feels like, well, I've got my stuff and nobody's taking it for me. Why? What makes you special? I mean, unless you're an Army Ranger or Delta Force, what makes you think people are just going to come take your crap from you?
It is getting close to decision time for the Cardinals and their roster. This is Tom Ackerman in Jupiter, Florida. Listen for my spring training reports, the latest news as we get closer to opening day.
Hear Tom's reports, mornings and afternoons, and on Sports Open Line, on your voice of the St. Louis Cardinals, KMOX.
Have you been injured in an accident? You need a personal injury law firm that wins. Onder wins. For over 100 years, we've been fighting and winning for St. Louis. $5 billion in negotiated settlements? We've got it. $300 million in verdicts? Done. Voted best law firm by STL Today 2 years in a row. Onder wins all the time. Car accident, trucking accident, workplace injury. No matter the case, let Onder win for you. When the stakes are high, we're the team you can trust. Wondering what your case is worth? Call now for a free consultation. And remember, we don't get paid unless you win. Dial 314 or 618-9-million. That's 9, then all zeros. Or visit onderwins.com today. Onder Law. Winning is what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Hey, it's Jim Costa with Cash the Ticket. It's March, so Mike Valeni and I are all over the tournament again this year. There's just nothing like betting in March. Breakdowns of every region and every game. From conference tournaments to the Final Horn, we'll have the picks and the plays on every single game. Cinderella spotlights, upset alerts, and some of that value for the last team standing. It's tourney time, so hunker down and bet the board with us. Subscribe and listen to Cash the Ticket in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Biz Dash returns for its 10th year as St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. All levels of runners and walkers welcome. Thursday, May 22nd at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com LandstoryLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Landstory Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Discover true luxury at Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership, Genesis of St. Charles. Thank you for making us the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2024. True luxury isn't just built, it's engineered with precision and passion. Explore amazing cutting-edge technology, redefined elegance, and exhilarating performance in the new 25 GV80. A new level of luxury awaits you at Genesis of St. Charles. Visit us in store or shop genesisofstcharles.com. Based on GMA sales records.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune in to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
.326 DGS. We always continue our conversations on the break.
That's my fault.
And I was saying to these guys, again, take kids out of it, having to help your kids survive. But if it was just me and the zombie apocalypse really happens, I'm making out with the first zombie lady I see.
Dave's like,
bite my tongue off, turn me, let me be all brainstem. Like, just living. Oh, I get to live another 7 years running from zombies every day and living off of cockroaches. Like, I'm good.
Get what you're saying,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Had a good long run.
Yeah.
It ended with a zombie apocalypse. Okay.
I have that. It's funny because I'm making all these jokes about it, but I think if in that moment faced with it, I'd probably want to fight.
Well, of course you would.
I know. I'm going out fighting, that's for sure. I mean, if I'm going out, we're going out with whatever we can take with us.
That would be one of the worst case scenarios for me, is to look out my front picture window and see Zombie Wheeler in my front yard.
Oh my God.
You're like,
dude.
well, I'm screwed.
You want no part of that.
But what if everyone else all your friends are zombies at this point?
Right.
Are you getting FOMO at that point? Like,
We're like,
I'm the only one still human.
We're out
you guys
there
are like undead,
we're like,
and you get to all hang out.
David. We're all outside, David.
David. David.
Join us.
Would you be tempted?
Oh,
if all your friends were outside.
Yeah, I mean,
if all your friends were going to jump off the bridge, would you? Maybe.
I would be tired of my survival rations on the second day.
Yeah.
This sucks.
You don't even do leftovers.
Right.
I know,
How are you going to do
seriously.
that?
Dave's out.
I can't DoorDash anymore.
You know they have fresh humans at the zombie camp.
Where's Dave? You mean Zombie Dave? He wasn't the zombie last night. Oh, he a zombie. Tell you guys about Zero Res. If the zombie apocalypse does come and you want your carpets to look great, you can reach out to them. It's 3 rooms of carpeting for $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. They do an exceptionally good job. I've been in business with them for 15 plus years. They've been out to the house half a dozen times, maybe more than that. As I always say, they show up in a marked van or truck, says Zero Res right on it, wearing a uniform so you're not feeling sketchy about letting someone in your home. They work really, really hard. They really do. They'll walk around your carpeting with you, and you can say, like, here's the high traffic area. This is where my husband spilled a glass of red wine. This is where the kids dropped a pizza. And we'll do our very best to get all of that out, which we do an excellent job. If we don't live up to your standards, you can use the 30-day Gotta Love It guarantee. Give us a call. Let us know you're not that happy. We'll come back. We'll do it again. We do hardwood. We have a great new treatment for hardwoods to really spruce them up for not a lot of money. We can do your upholstery, your couch, your chair. 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
At 3:30, 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. Russian leader Vladimir Putin agreed to temporarily halt strikes on Ukrainian energy and infrastructure in a call with President Trump, but rejected a broader ceasefire proposed by the U.S. CBS News national security consultant Jeff McCausland has reaction to the call.
Clearly, the Ukrainians have agreed in the negotiation between Washington and Kyiv on the need for a ceasefire for a period of 30 days. It's all going to be imagined of how that particular agreement is hammered out. Do the Ukrainians get an opportunity to participate in these particular negotiations? Or are we negotiating over their head?
Crash on 70 West at West Florissant to the right shoulder. Some road work on 44 East at Six Flags Road. They've just moved out. Some road work on 64 East at Boone's Crossing. Forecast is coming up with Dave Murray. Right now, windy and 77 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit. We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
There's nothing like it. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the timeless voice of Cardinals baseball.
A swing, and there's a high fly ball. That's in the deep left field. It might go. It's a gunner.
Now, you can experience every pitch, every play, every win in crystal clear FM sound.
Big fly, Alec Burleson.
Starting March 24th, tune in to 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of the Cardinals, now stronger than ever.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do painful joints prevent you from enjoying an active life? Blue Tail Medical Group can help without the expense and risk of surgery. Regenerative treatments can help patients with age-related wear, arthritis, or injuries by encouraging the return of soft, healthy tissue between your joints. Our doctors offer a natural path to reduce joint pain without surgery, drug dependence, or long recovery times. See nationally recognized specialists right here in Missouri at BlueTailMedicalGroup.com. That's BlueTailMedicalGroup.com.
There's nothing like it. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the timeless voice of Cardinals baseball.
A swing, and there's a high fly ball. That's in the deep left field. It might go. It's a gunner.
Now, you can experience every pitch, every play, every win in crystal clear FM sound.
Big fly, Alec Burleson.
Starting March 24th, tune in to 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of the Cardinals, now stronger than ever.
Welcome back, guys. DG Assen KMOX. Allison asks us, can't find you guys on 98.7 anymore. Are you just on AM or is it just me? A lot of this going around, Allison. We've had a text from our buddy Jimmy Griffin looking for us. It's all going to change next Monday. Until Monday, we're on 11:20 a.m. We're on 102.5 HD KZK, the HD channel. We're on the Odyssey app. We're on streaming on Facebook and YouTube. But then on Monday, we will flip a switch. We'll be on 104.1 FM. That'll be our primary home for the future. So there you go. Hello, Dave.
Hello there. I'm confused.
Yeah, it's confusing.
It is.
Yeah.
But it'll be all better on Monday.
It will.
Also, hey, new record today.
Wow.
83 degrees. The old record, 82 from 2012.
Damn.
There you go.
I know, Dave, that we just did your spring forecast, but do these warm spring numbers say much to you about the summer, or are they kind of unrelated?
The only thing that concerns me about it a little bit is that the records that we have been breaking lately have been from 2012. 2012 was a beast of a summer in St. Louis. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have any trends or anything else to talk to you about. I haven't even started that yet.
Okay. How are we looking for the rest of the week? A little rain tomorrow?
A little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. But the big deal tomorrow is wind. I know it's windy today. We've had some wind gusts pushing 38, 39 miles per hour. That could seem light tomorrow. We have a wind advisory in effect from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Kind of a changeable sky, mixed clouds and sunshine Wednesday, couple of showers, could be a rumble of thunder, a flash of lightning. This is not a severe weather event. This is a wind situation. Wind gusts could be pushing 50 miles per hour at times, really anytime on Wednesday in that 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So some power outages again possible, some tough driving on the highways, some trees coming down, 74 for the high. Wednesday night, a cold front comes by, showers, mixing with some wet snow after midnight. 35, it stays windy. Could be a dusting of snow on the grassy surfaces. Thursday, spring officially begins. 4:01 in the morning on Thursday. Sunny skies, windy. Not as windy as Wednesday is going to be, but windy and colder. 51 degrees. 37 Thursday night. Friday, partly sunny, 64. Looks like some rain trying to come in here on Sunday as far as the weekend is concerned. So really, really, really windy. Did I say windy tomorrow?
You did.
Okay.
You know, not just
windy tomorrow.
Not just because we had the storms over the weekend, but it seems because now I have my wind anxiety, so it could just be me. But it seems like it's been much windier this winter and spring.
It has. I don't know if it's been more windy, but it has been windy.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll settle there. Dave, are you a prepper at all?
No, not by the definition. But I have some stockpiles of stuff.
Mostly gold,
mainly. Well, besides that, ammo, that kind of stuff.
Golden ammo.
Dave's like, I'm on the roof. Here we go.
No, but like water. I have a pretty good supply of water. I typically have about 20 to 30 gallons of water on hand. Right now, I've got about 15. I don't store it per se. I go through it. I've got, I buy in bulk in some items. Not that that's going to save me in a catastrophic zombie type situation, but I can at least offer the zombies water.
Are you a generator guy?
I was a generator guy. Now I'm a solar panel guy.
There you go.
Okay.
But see, again, you live in an earthquake zone, which makes that stuff make a lot more sense because it is more likely for you than for us to have something go problematic for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever.
Right. And it's always, if I have a cloudy day, we have a cloudy day. I still generate solar power even on a cloudy day. But I can easily get through a night with the panels and the battery, and then I'm recharging the next day.
Steve had a good line. He says, that zombies eat brains. Right now they would starve, so I think we're all safe.
They wouldn't get very far, would they?
Yeah.
No, but I could offer them water.
Yeah, no, they would pass me up for sure.
Headlines, Rach?
Yeah, brought to you by Schnucks. Reward yourself daily with the Schnucks Rewards app. So U.S. astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams are finally headed back to Earth after 9 months stranded in space. They departed from the ISS above the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule named Freedom on Tuesday morning, and they are traveling home alongside American Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbov, who just recently arrived at the ISS. They should be splashing down. I think Amy told us they're on 447 today.
Isn't it weird? I'm so weird. There are times I think right now, Paul McCartney is alive somewhere doing something at the same time I am.
Yeah.
And by the same token, I'm thinking right now, there are people in a spacecraft heading down to the Earth. That's just bizarre.
And they've been stranded up there for 9 months, and they're finally getting to come home. It's just such a crazy story.
They're such professionals, and they say all the right things. I truly believe they believe them. To be an astronaut is one of those most amazing things, and the commitment you have to make, because, you get on that launch pad. Not only might you be gone for 9 months, you might not make it off the launch pad.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But just imagine, these two have families and kids and grandkids, and that'd be tough. 9 months.
Ed Sheeran visited a Boston pub on St. Patrick's Day. The packed house enjoyed Sheeran playing some of his greatest hits with fans singing along. The impromptu concert was a special treat for the fans, as he currently has no American tour dates scheduled.
He's been doing that a lot. Doing a lot of just pop-up stuff.
He is such a huge artist. I honestly am struggling to think of one of his songs.
Yeah,
He's just not really for
Yeah,
me.
not my wheelhouse.
I was just trying to do that too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, we're going to another bar.
Back to space. Bezos is sending up his wife and a couple of her girlfriends coming up here soon, and Bill Shatner has gone and things like that. Am I completely wrong to feel like that sort of disrespects space? We're sending up Katy Perry, for the love of God.
It is a little silly, but also they're just popping up there for a couple minutes. It's not like she's going to the ISS.
Yeah, they just barely get into space, I think. Just barely. If that.
Yeah, I don't think space cares, but it might be a little disrespectful to the rest of humans. Like, we're going to spend all this money just to do this for a couple seconds because we can. I mean, all you suckers just deal with whatever.
Just sort of taints it for me somehow.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. According to a new poll, Americans are sharply divided on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I probably could have told you that. Opinions are split along political lines. 49% of registered voters believe DEI efforts should be terminated due to creating workplace divisions, but 48% argue they should be preserved for promoting diversity and inclusivity. The survey also highlighted differing views on political correctness and prejudice, with Republicans leaning towards the former and Democrats toward the latter. Independents showed a more balanced perspective on these issues. Again, this survey is just a big duh to me. Obviously, it's a very divisive issue. It is about 50-50. Independents are probably going to have a little bit more nuanced views than highly partisan people. Just interesting stuff.
Here's the thing. DEI will be back because the Democrats will be back. You think that Republicans are going to run the table for the next 80 years? It's not going to happen. And so when the Democrats are back in office, it'll come back.
Did the Democrats mandate that you had to have DEI, or was that something that because I just read an article in Wall Street Journal this morning about Morgan Stanley, how they voluntarily did all these DEI programs, and now they're rolling it back, and they did kind of a terrible job at these DEI programs while they were doing it. Do you think most of these companies felt like they had, I feel like they were all just kind of jumping on the bandwagon and thinking, oh, this is the future.
It's a fair question. I don't know the answer to. I believe the law changed. That there was a law that, for colleges, they changed the law.
Yes.
And so now there's no affirmative action. And so whoever's got the highest scores, regardless of what race or creed or religion you are, you're the ones who get in, and it's affecting lots of different groups, affecting a lot of Caucasians. But I think that a lot of companies did DEI voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
So
Harvard tuition for families making up to $200,000 will now be $0. Yeah. This is pretty cool. The Ivy League announced Monday it's slashing the cost of tuition, housing, and meals to as little as $0 for many students. If your family makes $100,000 or less, there's no charge for tuition, room, or board. That's currently you would pay about $85,000 for that. And if your family makes less than $200,000, there's no charge for tuition. You could even have your living expenses covered.
I see nothing wrong with it. I wonder how many kids come from families who make less than $200,000. I think that we've had this problem for a very long time now, and I'm now part of the problem, paying an exorbitant amount for Phoebe to go to KU. Like WashU, I think their endowment's like $2 billion. So they could, basically give scholarships to every kid for the next 30 years. But they don't. They just keep throwing money on the pile. But I don't know. It's one of those problems I don't have the solution for, but I can definitely recognize the problem.
Harvard's endowment is $53 billion.
Jeez.
Pretty crazy. Crazy
I
to
would have
think
gone
about.
higher on that, actually.
What do you do?
Yeah, it's crazy numbers.
What are you going to do with all that? You could build like 20 football stadiums, like to NFL
That's what they should
stadiums
do.
with that. Like, it's like, I just want to put that into perspective.
Take
Like,
that
that's how
and
much
use it
money
for
that
something
is.
valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And one more story here. A record number of Americans are working 2 jobs. This is according to new data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. At least 5% of the American workforce has a second job. This is a new record as we try to fight tough economic conditions. That's 8.9 million Americans. That's in the highest rate since the Great Recession in April of 2009.
That's rough. We have debated whether a minimum wage should be a living wage, meaning that you can raise a family of 4 and have a car and a house and all this kind of stuff. I will say that I think that America is the kind of place that you should be able to make a living with one job.
Well, I mean, we used Dave, you talked about how much this is how my family went for a long time, although it started to change when I was a kid. But in the time that your parents are raising kids, it was okay to have not just one job per household.
Yeah.
Not one job per person.
Yeah.
One job per household could pay for the house, whatever cars you needed, food, bills, and it was plenty. And you were getting a pension on top of that.
Yeah.
So your retirement was being covered.
Yeah, like my dad was a union carpenter, hard hat Joe. My mom didn't work outside the house. She stayed at home, took great care of me. Chocolate chip cookies every day, laundry always done, beds made. It was just, trains ran on time. And we had new cars. We had a modest home, but, it was paid for. We were fine. And they still, it got eaten up with my dad's nursing home, but they managed to save like $300,000, which for that era, only making $25,000 a year was pretty impressive. It made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of people that want to go back to, quote, the good old days, but that's what the good old days were. The good old days were one job per household paid for everything, including college.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Tell you guys about Michael's Baths. This is an easy one. If you are interested in a bath remodel, this is the guy, because he has done work with all of these companies, the bath fitters, the 3-day kitchen and bath, the jacuzzis. He knows them exceptionally well, knows exactly what they do, how they do it. He does the same thing, but better, local, family owned and operated, and 30 to 50% less than they do it. He can show you, there's no magic. There's no like hide the donut. He can show you exactly how they do it. He'll get it done quickly. He'll get it done right, and he'll get it done for less money so that you can take that money and keep it in your savings or spend it on something else that you want to do to your house. If you're a disabled veteran out there, thank you for your service. And through a VA benefit, you can get a brand new kitchen rehab for $0. Mike does them all the time. 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
Now, KMOX traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Well, we've got traffic backed up and restrictions in St. Charles County right now. This traffic reports the service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Eastbound 70 is closed east of Highway A through Lake St. Louis Boulevard because of multiple brush fires. In fact, Veterans Memorial Parkway is restricted in that area as well. Eastbound 70 is jammed back through Highway Z. Westbound 70 is slow, approaching Highway K into the area. Just taking a look, it's impacting southbound 61. You're on the brakes from Wentzville Parkway, trying to ramp onto eastbound 70, and westbound 64 is backed up from west of Winghaven. Again, it's a jam, not a slowdown, out to 70 as well. Westbound 64 in the city. Kings Highway headed out through Tam is slow. Lindbergh out to 270 is kind of heavy. South 270 south of Page, Ladue is off the pace. South of Manchester down to about Big Bend. Southbound 55, Arsenal down through Bates is backed up. North of Z down through McNutt's heavy. 67 rather, northbound from Buck Creek up to Double C is backed up. Eastbound 64 downtown, west of Jefferson is slow, headed across the Poplar. Eastbound 100 at Highway V, there's an injury crash. Business 21 at Highway A, there's one as well. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This year, we celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Cards 85 National League Championship with an opening day exclusive. KMOX First Pitch Breakfast presented by Budweiser at Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village, featuring Cards legend Vince Coleman for an unfiltered conversation. Tickets are limited and on sale now at KMOX.com/events.
The First Pitch Breakfast presented by Budweiser, Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Composting, and Dirt Cheap.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's official. KMOX is moving to FM. Starting March 24th, listen to the voice of St. Louis at 104.1 FM.
Welcome back, DGS. Chip says, listener from the old 97.1 Legal Advice, Dave. First time joining the live feed. Think I may have to go back to podcasting. Dave is making me dizzy moving so much.
He does like to rock back and forth.
I do move.
The name on the shirt, Rolling Stone, is not just a band.
Yeah, I apologize.
Dave is the Rolling Stone.
I know that like there's nothing you can't fix, but it's all about like what you're willing to do.
Yeah.
Whatever it would take to fix my stimming and my rocking and my hand wringing, I'm not willing to do it.
Well, what harm is it doing?
That's making Chip sick.
Yeah.
Chip's
Take some
fine.
Dramamine, Chip. You're fine.
I've been chip sick before.
I want to ask you a couple sports questions, but we only have like a minute left.
Better answer fast, I guess.
Okay. West Virginia.
Yes.
North Carolina.
Yes.
West Virginia is threatening to literally sue the NCAA.
Yes. Stupidest thing ever. Governor and the Attorney General of West Virginia want to sue the NCAA because they chose North Carolina instead of what. Now, there's a bunch of people with real questions about this. I mean, North Carolina got in. Most people felt they shouldn't have, but their guy is the head of the board, the head of the committee. And he's like, I left the room when they were making that call. Because it still wouldn't matter, right, that you're in the room. But that's not about that. That's simply because it's North Carolina. It's a brand.
Second thing, you have 15 seconds. Dave's opinion, McGreevy should be starting over Michaelis.
And Matt's.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-431-2715. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715.
All right, guys, Kevin Wheeler for Game Day Men's Health. And, of course, you'll find them at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Look, I want you to run through this, too. We're going to do a little checklist. If you're noticing these things and you know there's no other, like, underlying health thing that's causing it, then you should be seeking out the help of Game Day Men's Health. First, like low energy. If you're tired all the time, if you notice a brain fog, maybe you're not sleeping well, you have mood swings, you're losing muscle or just not getting what you want out of workouts, or maybe even you had a decreased libido. GameDayMen'sHealth.com is your first stop, and you can see all of the options that are available to you. And it's not like you get to go there and say, I want this, I want this. They're going to do a blood test. You're going to run through a full consultation. They're going to lay everything out there, and they're going to talk about what will work best for you. For me, it was the TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. My numbers were low. I didn't know it, but it's probably why I was dragging. It's probably why I didn't get as much out of the gym that I wanted to get out of it. But whether it's that or medical weight loss, you're doing all of this in a relaxed environment. Everybody's cool. Everybody knows everybody's name at Game Day Men's Health. Every treatment is overseen by board-certified physicians. The staff are trained experts and specific expertise in men's health. So no matter what your needs may be, they're going to take great care of you, and it's going to be in that cool, relaxed, calm environment. You got 3 area locations. You got Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, Glen Carbon, Illinois. And by the way, all one price quoted to you up front, so you're going to know everything from the beginning. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com and get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, huh?
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee If your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Now, KMOX traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com traffic center.
Well, we still have traffic jammed up out in the Westplex. We have brush fires out in Lake St. Louis. It looks like Veterans Memorial Parkway is still closed in that area around Lake St. Louis. Eastbound 70 was shut down at Lake St. Louis. Looks like they've reopened it, although eastbound 70 right now is jammed from Wentzville Parkway up to Highway A. Westbound 70 slows approaching K into that general vicinity. Because of the eastbound 70 jam, southbound 61 is hard on the brakes at Wentzville Parkway, and westbound 64 is bumper-to-bumper crawling from Winghaven out to 70. So real tough traffic out there right now. Westbound 64 coming out of the city, Kings Highway through McCausland, slow Clayton Warson out to Ballas. We had a crash there. EMS was called out. It was blocking the right lane a couple of minutes ago. Westbound 70 also has some slow stuff past the airport to Lindbergh. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
KMOX KZK HD2 St. Louis.
This is KMOX, the trusted voice of St. Louis. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 4 o'clock, it is 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. The St. Louis police officer critically injured Monday after being struck by a reckless driver is back in surgery.
Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore charged 62-year-old Frank Carr, who struck the officer with leaving the scene of an accident and tampering with evidence. Carr was not involved in the initial incident. Of the 3 suspects who allegedly were involved in the carjacking that police were pursuing, only one is being identified.
18-year-old Mackay Campbell, the driver of the Acura that fled from officers and instigated the incident. Assault first degree on a law enforcement officer. Armed criminal action. Aggravated fleeing, a stop, or a detention causing physical injury.
Charges have been filed on the other 2 carjacking suspects. However, Gore will not release any information on them right now. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page says officials from the state have begun surveying the storm damage, but in order to understand the full extent, Page says they need residents' help.
We need people to report the damage through 211 so we can have an accurate accounting.
The Department of Defense says that tens of thousands of civilian jobs will be cut in the coming months.
Nearly 21,000 civilian employees at the Defense Department have taken the fork in the road or deferred resignation offer, senior defense officials said today. This is just one way the Pentagon is working towards Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's order to cut 5 to 8% of the entire civilian workforce. With nearly 900,000 civilians working for the Defense Department around the world, these cuts could ultimately impact about 70,000 people. Eleanor Watson, CBS News, the Pentagon.
A judge ruled that by dismantling the U.S. Agency for International Development, DOGE most likely violated the Constitution. The Trump administration is being ordered to restore email and computer access to all employees of USAID, including those put on administrative leave. CBS's Jake Rosen.
The judge also prevented DOGE and Musk from taking any action related to the shutdown of USAID, including placing employees on administrative leave, firing USAID workers, closing its buildings, bureaus, or offices, and deleting the contents of its website or collections. DOGE and Musk are prohibited under the judge's order from taking any other actions related to USAID without the, quote, express authorization of an agency official with legal authority to take the action.
The KMOX Business Desk, Google parent Alphabet, is writing the biggest check in its history as it looks to become a bigger player in cloud computing services.
Alphabet announced it's buying cybersecurity startup Wiz for $32 billion, with Wiz using artificial intelligence to power its real-time threat detection and response services. Wiz will become part of Google Cloud, which Alphabet is attempting to grow in size to compete with cloud computing leaders Microsoft and Amazon. Alphabet's prior record acquisition was Motorola Mobility for $12.5 billion in 2012.
That's Jason Brooks reporting. The Dow from Stifel down 260 points today to 41,581.
Oh, it's a nice afternoon to play a little hooky from work. Mostly sunny skies. It's windy and 80 degrees. The record's 82 from 2012. Tonight, cloudy, windy, 60 degrees. Wednesday, changeable sky. Mixed clouds and sunshine. A couple of rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, but it's really windy on Wednesday. These are not severe thunderstorm winds. It's just a setup for high winds, 50 miles per hour. Some of the gust on Wednesday resulting in some tree and power line damage, 74 for the high. Some wet snow trying to move into that late Wednesday night, a breezy and cold 35 degrees. Could see a dusting of snow from that. and just kind of chilly on Thursday as spring officially begins at 4:01 in the morning. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
78 in St. Peter's, 77 in Florissant, 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This is the DGS sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloor.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS on KMOX. Once again, and I apologized to you guys a week ago when we started talking about the signal flip, but we have so many people reaching out to us, just personal friends texting and people on the stream being confused because 98.7, which was our FM signal, just a city signal, it's not a market-wide signal, what we call a translator, has become Hot 98, which is what 104.1 was. It's hip-hop. 104.1 is still playing that, but next Monday they're going to flip a switch and KMOX will be on 104.1 FM, which is the place to go. It's way better than 1120 unless you're, pretty far out of town, then you'll use 1120. You can also use the Odyssey app. You can podcast. You can stream us on YouTube and on Facebook, but 104.1 FM is going to be where KMOX lives from now on, and that is next Monday. So one more week, few more days, we'll all get through this and we'll have a brand new life on FM. Every Tuesday at 4, we do the Think Tank. And we have someone from the left, someone from the right. A lot of times, both guys are kind of in the middle. Today, we have two of our favorites, Judge Tom Frawley, who I've known my entire law practice, Braxton Payne, who's with Michael Kelly's group. Good to see you guys.
Great to see you.
Good to be here. Yeah.
I didn't realize I was going to be on camera today, so I didn't know if I should put in a stipend for hair and makeup or. Luckily, I don't look like a bum today, so that's good.
And I used to love that when I first started doing the national television, when I would be on CNN a lot or Fox, and I'd go do it at Channel 9.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first couple of years, they had a makeup artist. After that, they're like,
awesome.
You can do it yourself.
Awesome.
But I just felt so special. I don't know what it was. I just felt so cool getting hair and makeup for television.
Must have been a lot of work.
It didn't help. It didn't help. It was like putting makeup on a pumpkin.
Never mind. I won't say that.
So earlier, Judge, we had attorney Brad Young on, who's just great. And I was asking him all these legal things that are going on right now with the Trump administration. I want to get both of your views, but especially you, judges, as a jurist, because we were talking about Andrew Jackson when he said all that time ago that the Chief Justice has made his opinion known. Now let him enforce it. We're kind of getting into those days again.
I think we are. I think I suspect Judge Roberts is not, Chief Justice Roberts, is not going to want to have his legacy be that he's allowed defiance. As you know, Dave, from when we were younger, there was the Warren Court that created all of the rights for criminal defendants. Everybody knows it as the Warren Court. We don't know who the justices were.
You're right.
But it's the Warren Court. I think the same thing's going to be true here with Chief Justice Roberts. Is he's already, I thought he would do a better job with the authoring the opinion on criminal when the president can or cannot commit a crime. So at this point, the interesting thing to me is when you have somebody that defies an order, there's a contempt proceeding, meaning you're in defiance of a court order, and you need to come in front of the judge and show why it was not willful and intelligent. Well, this is pretty flippant willful and pretty much in your face. So the question is, who is the person who gets sanctioned? Usually not the lawyer, it's usually the client. In other words, if a father's not paying child support, he's the one that's going to be in contempt and punished. If a mother is not allowing a child to go visit a father, she's the one going to be in contempt. And then under our statutes here in Missouri, if you're found in contempt, you have to be given the keys to the jailhouse if it's civil contempt as opposed to criminal contempt. Criminal contempt would mean you're locked up for X number of days or hours or whatever. So I don't know if this is a civil contempt. Who is the contemptee? Mr. Trump? Maybe so. So then I put him and lock him up, which would give me great pleasure. And And what are the keys to the jailhouse? Usually, like if the person's not paying support, well, here's $1,500 toward my deficiency. Or if a mother's not allowing a child to go, I promise, Judge, I get it. I won't do it anymore, or whatever it may be. So I don't know, and I think we're in a constitutional crisis. He's not going to obey it. There's no way.
Brax?
Yeah, it's one of the things is, we've always said like the norms are just out the window. So where do we go from here? And I look at it not from, a judge's perspective but more of a political one. And I just see that like there's two really frames of thought, I think, in this country right now. It's the people that understand civics and like institutions. And then there's the people that maybe don't understand civics and want to do away with everything. And that's what Trump is doing for them right now, is he's just throwing everything out the window. And my fear is, is that people don't really understand how government works and the Constitution and and there's a reason that we have these frameworks in place is to, stop dictators or to have, checks and balances. But I think it's almost sometimes I think we're having an argument, like everyone in this room probably can agree that like a lot of this is kind of crazy. But I think there's people out there that want it to happen. And so therefore they're just thrilled and they don't care about the civics or the long-term impact. They just want to see the system broken up. And therefore it's like, how do you, it's like, I can't talk, if you hate oranges and you don't like oranges, I can't sit there and just say, okay, you're going to love this one if you try this brand of orange. If you hate all oranges, if you hate all government, you want it all done. And so I just think we're arguing with people that don't want to see the systems upheld, and you want to see a complete dismantling of everything.
Yeah. Most of the extreme things I've said have been on the air for the purpose of being extreme on the air in my younger career. And so this is my 25th year. In my probably 5th through 10th, I was pretty fond of saying things like, we need to throw them all out. Just, just have a lottery and let those people serve in Congress and these monkeys and XYZ. I didn't realize what an institutionalist I was until they came for the institutions,
Well, yeah. And I think the shame in all of this is I always thought Congress made the laws. I really did. I thought that was kind of what I learned in basic civics. And we don't hear anything from the Congress. Even the Democrats are sort of strangely silent. And that may be part of their MO. I'm not trying to project, but you don't hear anything from the Republicans. Wait a minute, that's our job. Executive orders with everything. And now he's going to go after the alleged people that Biden gave a pass to because it was an auto pen. I agree with Braxton. This is just nuts, and it's not going to stop because there's a segment of our society that gets back to what you just said a minute ago. Throw everybody out. Let's start over, and it can't be worse than it is now.
Yeah,
and there's no empathy for these people who lose their jobs.
So
just out the door, sorry, but man, not even sorry. Out the door you go.
Back to your original point, Judge, about the way it worked in your courthouse, that if I'm in contempt, someone eventually is going to put hands on me and put me somewhere I don't want to be. Well, with this is a different level. Like if you have a president of the United States, let's say goes to the Supreme Court and they rule against him and he says, I don't care. I mean, what can you, it would have to be the DOJ to enforce it, I would think, but it's his DOJ. So
I don't know the answer to that. You're right. It's sort of a circular problem, but an oral order versus a written order, you're trying to make that distinction. Give me a flipping break.
Kev, do you worry about this? Do you really worry that we could get to that point, or do you think that the institutions will take care of it, or Trump will back down?
I don't worry about it, but it's the first time I've ever thought about it. I mean, like, I'm not sitting here waiting for the day for it to come, and I think about it nonstop. But that's why I asked Brad that question earlier. Like, okay, so what is that scenario? The Supreme Court rules and any president says, nope. Well, then what? Like, I mean, I'm surprised we don't have a plan in that. Like, we don't say, okay, well, then the chairman of the Joint Chiefs takes some action or whatever. I mean, because it isn't simple. I mean, I guess did Brad say the only thing would be, you can invoke the
25th,
but again, that only works if you have enough votes for it.
Yeah. I see this though too. It's he's acting like he won this election with like a mandate, and he has 2 extra seats in the Senate, 1 or 2 in the House, won by a couple million votes. But it's not like I mean, if you imagine Barack Obama doing this in 2009 when he got elected, he had 60 senators. He won by 10 million plus votes. He had the entire House of Representatives. I mean, and he barely could get healthcare passed with 60 Democratic senators. But if you imagine if he had that same mentality of Trump would have done and just said, hey, we're going to take over everything. I mean, the Tea Party was founded in 2009, and they really became power because they thought he was going too far through the legal channels and through Congress. Imagine if he just would have taken all of those things that he wanted to do, especially with healthcare, maybe the individual mandate, and gone through executive actions and orders. So, I mean, it would have just been insane.
Brax, as the judge was pointing out, the left in Congress are being very quiet, with the exception of Chuck Schumer, who someone needs to tell him his time is up. As a political animal, do you think that this is crazy like a fox? They're kind of doing the James Carville play dead sort of strategy, or do you think they're just back on their heels?
Go for it.
Back on the heels, I think would be a really great assessment. And with the Democrats, we're having arguments about Doge and Elon Musk and cutting government when most Americans hate government. So I think we're losing the argument before it even starts. And so, the one thing that I think you're seeing now is a shift, especially a lot of the labor unions, is now we're talking about the veterans that are losing their jobs and the veterans care, because that is pretty universally accepted and people don't love that. But also the education system. I mean, look at the Department of Education. Okay. Everyone can have your feelings on that. But what I find interesting is this is not a new thing that people have hated their local school board. You saw the insurgence of these conservatives coming in because they feel like, their kids are being taught indoctrinated for some of their terminology. So going after the Department of Education is just something that they all see. So I think Democrats is right now, we don't have a framework because, number one, we've never seen any of this before. But also, I don't know how we can win an argument when you're playing by 2 sets of rules. And so when you start the argument, like I said, the oranges, if you're arguing with somebody that hates everything that you're trying to protect, how can you win that argument?
Yeah.
And I think the majority of American people do not like the government because it has not worked for them. And that is the difference that we're seeing now. It's still not working for them. They think Trump will do it for them.
Yeah.
But it's not still. The systems are not working for them.
We have so much ignorance in this country, and I will fall on my sword as well. I pride myself on knowing more than the average bear just from doing this job and reading so much. But Department of Education, for example, if I'm honest, I really don't know what they do. Yeah. I mean, I know they deal with education, but I couldn't tell you 5 things that are their responsibility.
Right. And that's where I come back to civics. I don't think many people understand how you look at just the Supreme Court rating. I mean, they had something like a 75% approval rating. And then in 2016, once people started to attack them from both sides of the aisle, it just continues to go down. Now there's something like 54% of Americans. That's the same as the president. Or, when you can't trust something because you don't understand it, and it goes back to civics. I mean, I remember taking civics classes, but I remember enjoying them, and I loved the institutions. I knew I was an institutionalist in middle school. I just knew it. I mean, that is who I was. And now I'm just seeing, I'm trying to have conversations with buddies of mine that are younger than me, and I just can't get through to them. Like, hey, we need all of these things. U.S. aid I think is a great example of what they're able to do and how it actually creates job. And every dollar you output, you get $1.40 back. So, and it's just like, but you can't have these conversations because they just see, it's sending condoms over to different countries.
Gonna do a quick break. Back with the guys right after this. Let me know your opinion on the stream on Facebook or YouTube, or ask a question of the fellas.
Now, KMOX traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com traffic center.
This traffic report is a service of Interpark Holdings. We still have backed up traffic out in the Westplex. We'll start on westbound 70. Getting there, you've got slow traffic from 170 all the way to almost the Rock Road. It's busy Cave Springs to 370, and then it bogs down from TR Hughes through Highway K. We've had brush fires alongside the interstate, specifically the Southside Veterans Memorial Parkway had restrictions. Southbound 61 backs up Wentzville Parkway onto 64, eastbound 70, Wentzville Parkway into 64 slow, westbound 64 heading out that way. You've got heavy traffic, Kings Highway through McCausland, it's jammed. approaching Clayton Warson out to Ballast because of a crash they were clearing. And then it's on the brakes again, approaching Winghaven solid all the way out to 70. South 270, Olive to Ladou's a little busy. Southbound 55, Arsenal down through Bates is bumper to bumper. There's heavy traffic. We had a crash reported near 141. There's slow traffic back through Merrimack Bottom. It's slow again. Z down through McNutt. They had a crash near McNutt. There was a crash reported on 67 just a couple minutes ago at CC. Northbound 67 is jammed back past Buck Creek to CC. Eastbound 64 is west of Jefferson. 44 is east of Jefferson. Heavy traffic headed across the Poplar in Illinois. Make game day parking easy with iParkit, with 2 convenient locations on Clark Avenue right next to the ballpark. Download the iParkit app and drive in and out using your license plate. Choose iParkit for convenience and peace of mind. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
The voice of St. Louis. News that matters to you. KMOX.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Discover true luxury at Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership, Genesis of St. Charles. Thank you for making us the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2024. True luxury isn't just built, it's engineered with precision and passion. Explore amazing cutting-edge technology, redefined elegance, and exhilarating performance in the new 25 GV80. A new level of luxury awaits you at Genesis of St. Charles. Visit us in-store or shop genesisofstcharles.com. Based on GMA sales records.
Anderson is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Find out why Renewal by Anderson has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1957. rbastl.com.
RuPaul's Drag Race is back with a wet and wild new season, and you can watch it all on MTV with Philo. With Philo, you can enjoy live TV from your favorite channels like MTV, VH1, AMC, Discovery, BET, and more. Plus, an unlimited DVR that lets you save and rewatch anything you want for up to a year. We've also got a collection of over 80,000 hit movies and shows that you can watch anytime, and the entire AMC Plus library, all for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Enjoy Philo on your laptop, tablet, phone, or TV, and stream on up to 3 devices at once. So what are you waiting for? Dive into the splashiest extravaganza yet and start watching the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race live on MTV with Philo for an unbeatable price. To start your 7-day free trial and make sure you get the best price for the TV you love, visit philo.tv today. That's philo.tv.
When you've been hurt in an accident, you need a law firm that wins. Onder wins. For over 100 years, Onder Law has been winning for St. Louis. With over $5 billion in negotiated settlements and over $300 million in verdicts, Onder wins. Voted best law firm by STL Today 2 years in a row, Onder wins. Whether it's settlements, verdicts, or awards, Onder wins. If you've been hurt in a car accident, trucking accident, or hurt on the job, Onder Law will get you the money you deserve. At Onder Law, winning is what we do. So when the stakes are high, Onder wins. Call us today for a free consultation. We don't get paid unless we win for you. Dial 314 or 6189-million. That's 314 or 6189, then all zeros. Or visit us online at onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Welcome back, guys. DGS on KMOX, the think tank with Judge Frawley and Braxton Payne. So yesterday we had Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez on with Mark Harder from the St. Louis County Council. They both have bills that they are planning on introducing to get a city manager and a county manager to work just beneath the mayor and the county executive to effectuate the kind of things in a meat and potatoes on the ground kind of way that the mayor and the county executive can't, or at least has not. What are your opinions on this?
I'm 100% behind that. I mean, I just use the school district as an example. I've always thought there should be a person. It's like a business. The school, where you have a business, a company, and then you have multiple outlets. Each school is an outlet. It should have its own person running it. And there should be a COO, a CEO, somebody who's trained in business instead of just a school district, which are wonderfully nice people, presumably, some of whom might, some might not have the training. And we have a superintendent who may have absolutely no interest or inclination of what business is required, and yet might be a wonderful education. I think the same thing's true with government.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's first off, I think we should explore anything that makes government better for the citizens. So I have no issues with exploring it and seeing how it actually work and make sure that the city manager would be held accountable to the mayor and therefore the voters. So I'm okay with that. I mean, you look at when Francis Slay was mayor, I mean, he had a chief of staff that was pretty forceful in Jeff Rainford.
Yeah.
And he was essentially a de facto city manager. Obviously didn't have some of the powers a city manager did, but he was in the news. I mean, he took the hits for Mayor Slay at the time. So, I mean, it's not something that's uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be what the exact roles would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think exploring it both, but also you got to think about it. Sam Page is not going to be the county executive forever. Tashara Jones is not going to be the mayor forever. So if we're going to implement new things, don't just do it because we don't like that person at that time. And I think that's something that's really important.
And my understanding, Dave, I could be wrong, but a number of the municipalities within the county have a city manager. So it isn't a foreign concept.
No.
And I submit, if there had been a city manager, those streets would have been plowed because they moved to use Braxton's fund, boots on the ground. They'd have been functioning because what the boots on the ground need to be done, and would see all of those problems more instead of on a political scale of what we need to do or not.
Just 30 seconds left. Do you think that this election is Kara Spencer's to lose?
Yeah, I mean, she beat her by double digits. I don't see any consolidation around Tashara Jones's former supporters besides Action St. Louis to come and to her aid. And they did a late endorsement and it was kind of half-hearted. They are volunteering, they're knocking doors, but Kara just needs to keep on track. And, she needs to be able to, when she gets in there day one, to actually serve and do everything that she wants to do. And I think she's going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I think the way you framed it, yes, is it hers to lose. I think she could lose it. But I think it's a long haul for her to have. She had to be a big mess up. And
she got some good cheers at St. Patrick's Day yesterday. I can
Yeah.
tell you that.
And
They were Tashara and Kara were right next to each other.
Oh,
She was in
really?
a car,
Awkward.
and then Kara was walking behind the car.
Oh, that's really awkward.
And I thought Kara did okay in the. She didn't step in it during the debate on Channel 4.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure, always.
Let me tell you guys what's going on with Financial and Tax Architects. Been talking to you about this Retirement Planning 101 seminar. And what I want to impress upon you is, obviously it's voluntary. No one's coming into your house and dragging you out to this, but it is, this is for you. This is a 3-hour seminar, not a 3-hour sales pitch, to educate you about 401ks and Roth conversions and tax issues and how do you pay for health care and when do you take your Social Security, all the things that we all have questions about. Financial and tax architects have answers, and they will cover those. They're doing these seminars a couple times a month at colleges and libraries around town. It costs you nothing. All you have to do is call and reserve your space. You and your spouse, maybe another couple. Call 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects, 350-8110.
Now, a Cardinals spring training report, sponsored by Wilkie Window and Door, Norm's Bargain Barn, and St. Louis Composting, on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals, KMOX.
I'm Tom Ackerman. The spring training report is sponsored by Norm's Bargain Barn, Wilkie Window and Door, and by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. Earlier this afternoon, the Cardinals tied the Miami Marlins here in Jupiter, Florida. The final score was 4-4. Miles Mikolas was really good today. A quality start. He pitched 6 innings, allowed 3 runs. Mikolas tuning up for the regular season. He'll be the number 3 starter in the rotation, most likely, with Sonny Gray and Eric Fedde going before him. The Cardinals are using Mikolas as 3, and Steven Matz is pitching tomorrow against the Nationals here in Jupiter. That's a 12:05 start on KMOX, 11:55 for the pregame. Meantime, the Cardinals also got some offense today out of some unexpected contributors from a power standpoint. Pedro Paez and Jose Fermin, they went back-to-back with home runs, but it wasn't enough as the Marlins added a run late and tied it 4-4. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
At 4:30, the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got some wind. It is 76 downtown at the Arch. Ukraine responds to the partial ceasefire deal agreed upon during a call today between President Trump and Russian leader Putin. CBS's Stacey Lynn at the White House.
President Zelensky says Ukraine would back a truce on strikes against energy infrastructure, but says he'd like to speak with President Trump to hear more details first. He says the U.S. should be guarantors, and his side will maintain it as long as Russia stuck to it, but added he doesn't think Russia is ready to end the war and that Putin's ultimate game in talks to halting the conflict was to weaken his country.
By this time next year, folks in rural Jefferson County will be able to hear tornado sirens. Last week, when the EF2 touched down, only sirens that could be heard were coming from the cities who have them. Warren Robinson, Director of Emergency Management at Jefferson County, says they are in the installation process.
The system we are installing is actually going to be fully compatible with the system that the city of Arnold has up. So our plan right now is to integrate our systems into a single one.
The total number of sirens in the unincorporated areas will be
101.
Let's get an update of the St. Louis Business Index with Stifel's Scott Bedell.
Good afternoon, Michael. Hello, everyone. Following 2 days of rebounding stock prices, major market indexes took a breather today with a sell-off across the board. At the close, the Dow Jones Industrial Average had fallen 260 points, or 0.6% to 41,581. The Standard & Poor's 500 index also lower, down a little more than 1% at 5,614, while the NASDAQ Composite Index fell 1.7% to 17,504. The Bloomberg St. Louis Stock Index dropped 0.5% at 1,469. A couple local stocks today moving higher. Peabody Energy up 6.25% at $14.18. Bear Corporation added another 3.5% to $6.77. On the downside, Stifel Financial slipped 0.6% at $96.27. Energizer fell a little more than 1% at $30.09. While Esco Technologies dropped 2.5%. They closed at $156.01. This has been Scott Bedell from Stifel Financial, member SIPC and New York Stock Exchange. For more information on our firm, we invite you to visit our website at stifel.com.
For tonight, cloudy, low 52. For tomorrow, mix of clouds and sun, some rain, high 74. Right now, 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Now, KMOX traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
This traffic report's a service of Chesterfield Fence Deck. Going home on westbound 70, you still have slow traffic from 170 all the way to the Rock Road. It's kind of busy West of 94 to Cave Springs. Pretty slow from 79 all the way out through K. Eastbound from A to the Bryan Road area is kind of busy due to the brush fires on Veterans Memorial Parkway alongside the highway. Westbound 64, Kings Highway out through McCausland's on the brakes. It's slow west of K. It backs up at Winghaven to 364. Busy both ways on 64 between 364 and Highway 70. Southbound 270 slow from Olive to Ladue. North 270 Clayton Road up through Ladue toward Oliveway, an incident they cleared. The southbound side's also busy. 44 down to Gravois, westbound, eastbound 44, an incident eastbound near Kings Highway. Westbound's a little slow past it. Eastbound 44 then has delays from Lafayette up to the Poplars. 64 is almost grand headed across the Poplars. Southbound 55, Arsenal to Bates, bumper to bumper. There's slow stuff approaching Merrimack Bottom down then at incident at 141 where the white lane's closed. Then north of Z down through McNutt, there's a crash northbound of McNutt. It's backed up almost to Highway A. And northbound 67 north of Meyer Road up to Double C Jam because of an injury crash. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. I'm Roger Brand in the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
When news breaks, St. Louis turns to the team that knows your community best. At KMOX, our newsroom is dedicated to delivering the stories that matter to you. KMOX News is here for St. Louis.
This is Tom Ackerman of Total Information AM.
This is Debbie Monterey.
This is Megan Lynch.
Hi, this is Michael Calhoun with KMOX News.
I'm Maria Kina.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Starting March 24th, listen to the voice of St. Louis at 104.1 FM.
Kenny talks about his decision to get Anderson replacement windows from Wilkie Window and Door.
I got to tell you, my wife and I couldn't be more pleased with your company, your installation team, sales team, etc. Under this circumstance, you've got a customer for life.
Don't overpay for your Anderson windows. Call Wilkie Window and Door for an Anderson replacement quote. It's just common sense. Wilkie Window and Door in Fenton and Shiloh, next to Lifestyle Kitchens and Baths. Visit us at wilkiewindow.com. That's wilkiewindow.com.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. Go to thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
The easiest way to park on game day is with iParkit. iParkit has the best game day parking lots in St. Louis. iParkit has 2 convenient garages on Clark Avenue, located right next door on either side of the ballpark. The iParkit game day garages have multiple entries and exits to accommodate all fans, no matter where you're coming from or where you're headed after the game. Download the iParkit app and drive in and out using only your license plate. For your next game day experience, use iParkit Garage for convenience and peace of mind. If you've tried and failed every ED treatment, there's another fix that could work for you. It's same-day surgery, it's minimally invasive, and is performed by South County Urological Physicians. Hundreds of men have come to us for this outpatient procedure that has a satisfaction rate over 90%. Interested? Call South County Urological, 314-843-8000. We have the fix when pills and devices no longer work. 314-843-8000 or southcountyurological.com.
Welcome back, DG Ask 438. Supposedly, the spacecraft is supposed to splash down at 4:47 p.m. our time, so we will be keeping an eye on the television and let you know if that's going on and once they're home safe and all that kinds of stuff. I don't mean to piss anyone off by saying this, and I certainly am 100% pro-Ukraine, 0% Russia. But as I look at this situation, I'm not sure why Russia would take any deal. Like, they're winning.
Yeah.
They're going to win. The Trump administration has given them a lot of runway and a lot of bargaining chips and taking NATO off the table, the negotiating table, and Ukraine, you're going to give up territory. If I'm Russia, I'm probably just playing this thing out.
Yeah, I mean, I was just Wheels, wasn't I saying this last week? I was like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to root for, really, because I completely agree with you, Dave. Russia is in a position that's, I mean, really great for them.
Yeah.
And when Trump says you don't have any cards, he's kind of right. I'm not saying it's the right thing to say. I don't think you should say that to an ally in front of the press. I thought that was pretty messed up, but it wasn't, it was factual. So it's the kind of thing, I just want people to stop dying. I hate to see this loss of life over this area that, like you said, it seems like it's going in one direction. So you want it to end, but then you don't want the bad guys to just make off with exactly what they wanted either.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do to stop it?
I don't know that they have an easy win. I mean, did any of us think this would last this long?
No.
I mean,
no,
they've been proven to be a lot more inept than anybody thought.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that from my opinion. That's come from people like General Hertling, who we've had on the show, and who's our friend from CBS,
McCausland,
Jeff McCausland. Like, those military analysts have said things like that. Like, man, they're not as bad as everybody thought they were. Like, they're much further behind the rest of the modern world.
If
than you
I'm
thought.
Russia, I'm looking at this long term, and I'm saying, I have a friend in the White House, maybe not an ally, but I have someone who really seems to like me and is giving me every advantage, and turning Europe against the United States for the first time in decades. So if I'm Putin and I'm already a really bad guy and have no morals, I'm probably going to say, I have some cover here because I don't have to take a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I can just say it's not a good deal and have some cover. And I can drive a further wedge between the United States and Europe and NATO, because this is Putin speaking. I don't think Trump is going to go back and start giving Ukraine a bunch of money or a bunch of intelligence. I think that ship has sailed, and Donald Trump has said in the Oval Office to the press during that meeting that Rachel was referencing, like, you either make a deal or we're out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he literally said that. So if I'm Russia, I'm going to keep on going.
I'm trying to. This can't be right. How many soldiers has Russia lost in this?
Hundreds of thousands, but I don't know
because this one here says 800,000.
That could be including just casualties.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's combination, but like, they got to be at a pretty thin way. I mean, like, they can't have very much sitting behind that.
Yeah, I don't think Russia anytime soon is going to win, like take over the whole country.
They're just in a great position.
They're just in a great
now.
position. Yeah.
And what is if the U.S., as Donald Trump keeps signaling, if the U.S. stops helping, where does Ukraine go? Because
to Europe,
it's Europe, yeah.
And Europe has said, we have your back. We're going to give you X billions of dollars. But it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it, especially if the thing lasts another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Well, their fear is much more stark than ours would be.
Yeah.
Because they're neighbors with Russia. And if Russia feels like it can do this on a regular basis, well, then Poland's going to be worried about it, and everybody else will be too, which is why we do get involved in things like that, especially financially, even if we're not going to send soldiers or whatever, is because those are supposed to be our allies. We would want them to have our back when things go bad, so we should have their backs too. And it also, like, let's be clear, this weakened Russia's military a lot. How is that? And if you don't think they're an adversary of ours, I don't know what you're paying attention to, because clearly they have an adversarial position towards us. And you could argue that even though China has a business relationship with us, which we're buying, both sides buying and selling from each other all the time, there's a little bit of an adversarial thing going on there too. But if anything diminishes that, is it not worth it? If it makes Russia less of a threat to everyone else, that they've shown how many losses they've taken here, that they aren't really all that great. Can you imagine if the U.S. sent troops anywhere and lost 800,000 of them? That's a world war type thing. That's not an invasion of a smaller neighboring country.
Yep.
Man, that's crazy.
Okay, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, the astronauts should be re-entering Earth's atmosphere, DGS on KMOX.
Now, KMOX traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com traffic center.
This traffic report is a service of GL International Realty. If you're traveling on westbound Highway 70, you've got slow traffic from 170 through Lindbergh. It's kind of busy from Earth City to the Blanchard. We have a crash near Zembro, so it's backed up at 94. And then it's slow from 79 all the way out through that Bryan Road area. Again, the brush fires alongside the south side of the highway and the restrictions on Veterans Memorial Parkway have been an issue for a while this afternoon. Westbound 64 from the Science Center out there to McCausland's heavy. Clayton Worth in the ballast slow from a recent crash. There's a little heavy traffic around Topgolf. And it's bogged down from 364 out to 70. Eastbound 64 is slow from Prospect into Lake St. Louis Boulevard still as well. 270 both ways between Olive and 64 slow. Northbound actually begins around Manchester. Southbound, once you get through 64, it's really not bad. A little busy at 44, and then you're good to go. Southbound 55, stop and go the whole way from Arsenal down to Bates. They cleared that stall we had at 141, so that run through Merrimack Bottom is thinned out. You still got backed up traffic in pockets from Z down through McNutt. Northbound 55A up to McNutt. We had a crash on the northbound side there. Northbound 67 still jammed from north of Meyer Road up to Double C. There was a crash there as well. Downtown eastbound 44, Lafayette to the Poplar. 64 from almost Compton across the Poplar is slow, and westbound is backed up downtown through the bridges. Sell your home with trust, confidence, and written guarantees. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty is St. Louis's real estate expert. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com traffic center.
KMOX Cakes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back at Cardinals Nation Restaurant in Ballpark Village, Thursday, March 27th from 11 till 2. It'll feature a live KMOX broadcast, a brunch buffet, draft beer from Anheuser-Busch products, and select mixed drinks. All-inclusive single tickets and tables on sale now. Celebrate this unofficial holiday with KMOX, Budweiser, Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Composting, Rally House, and Dirt Cheap. Get your tickets now at KMOX.com/events. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
So BioBalance Health and Dr. Kathy Maupin, I talk about them all the time, and I do like to try to not bore you guys too much and change things up. And I'll just say this, that it works. Before finding Dr. Kathy Maupin, I spent so much money on eye creams and retinol and things like that. And just like, maybe it's working, maybe it's a little bit less wrinkles, blah, blah, blah. But going to see Dr. Maupin and Sarah and